Good morning, Raptor freaks. Lexiot's here and Saturday morning, and we're doing a Saturday Share the Love Club because we've had a lot of games off, and I'm on a off-season mode. And on Saturdays, we like to celebrate an individual that has to do with the Raptors for achievement, just for appreciation, for archiving them as somebody who was in the Raptors history that did something. And well, we're doing that today for Elijah Martin, two-way out of University of Florida and Florida Atlantic that has distinguished himself this G League season already as the G League Player of the Week, and that's fantastic. We get this accolade every once in a while for our team, but the thing that makes it really really sweet and awesome that Elijah's gotten this award is the record of the Raptors 905 being perfect 12-0. It's a huge accomplishment. And Elijah had some great games in the last little while, high scoring games where he scored like 30 plus, like 3 games in a row. So that's part of how he got it. He distinguished himself with a high scoring percentage and a very efficient high scoring percentage. He was shooting very, very well during that period of time. So, we're going to talk Elijah Martin today, and that means y'all share the love for him. This is a concept that was inspired by Scotty Barnes and Gary Trent Jr. in interviews a few years ago in Scotty's rookie year. Both of them espoused in after game interviews that they wish people would share more love. They were sick of all the hating, all the criticizing, all the judging. And they were like, why can't people just share more love? And I took it to heart and I opened my heart and I created the Share the Love Club. And we've done a lot of these over the years. We've done ones for Masai, Scotty, OG, Serge Ibaka, Bobby Webster, Dr. Alex McKechnie, Casey Bannerman, Eric Smith. So many different people have gotten Share the Love Clubs. But today, Elijah Martin's getting his turn. And the other thing about it is he's getting his before Colin Murray Bowles. He's getting his before Chucky Hepburn. He's getting his before a lot of the guys who are on the team right now. So congratulations, Elijah Martin, on your achievement as G League Player of the Week and also a huge leader on this Raptors 905 team that is now 12-0. And they will go for 13-0 tomorrow in Maine against the Maine Celtics at 1 p.m. And I'll be doing a live call of that show on this channel during the game. My stream will start tomorrow at 12:45, guys. And we will be watching the G League game tomorrow afternoon live, and I'll call a play-by-play during it. Yeah, so I'll be calling Elijah's game tomorrow live on this channel, live watch along. So I hope you'll join me. The G League games have been fantastic and exciting, and this last one was exemplary of that. Crazy comeback victory, 21 points down at the half, and came back and won in the second half. Woo-wee, Andrew Jones. And the job you're doing out there in Mississauga with Alijah and Chucky and AJ Lawson. Yeah. AJ Lawson hasn't even gotten a Share the Love Club yet. He's from Brampton, Alijah. So this is a big deal. This is a very big deal. Yeah, I just had to note your achievement. I really, really did. Elijah's interesting. He is one of the very few players in NCAA history who has appeared in the Final Four for 2 different universities. That's right. He got to the Final Four with Florida Atlantic, which is a school, if you don't know Florida very well in the colleges, is not a huge school. It's not a premier school like Florida State or University of Florida or University of Miami. But Florida Atlantic, a little dog in the fight, made their way to the Final Four when Elijah was there. And in some ways, that embodies the winning spirit of Elijah, that places that he's gone, well, they've won and gotten to high levels. And I guess that's continuing now. You see him go. He's at Florida Atlantic. They get the Final Four. He's at University of Florida. They win the national championship just in his senior year. 1 year at Florida. Perfect. Winning the national championship with the Gators in the Final Four in the tournament and the big dance earlier this year. And now he's on G League, Raptors 905, and he's a perfect 12-0. Yeah, there's something about that. There's something about that. Sure, we've had guys who've done well in the tournament that have come through our team. Oshai Abaji won too. Yeah, he did in Kansas. He won a title. He won an NCAA tournament and cut that net down. Marquise Noel, he was somebody who did very well in the tournament when he was in college. And yeah, he was wowing people in the big dance. Yeah, sometimes that's what Bobby Webster, it piques his interest. I think ever since they got Kyle Lowry and worked through him, through his leadership problems and things that were happening with him early in his Raptors career and got to the place where he is, they're like, we need to get the winners. We need to get guys that may not be the most talented or the most athletic or most this or that, but they have some sort of winning vibe to them. People that winning follows them, like Fred VanVleet of Wichita State, coming to the Raptors and winning a G League championship with the 905, and then an NBA championship 2 years later with the Raptors in 2019. These kind of players, they may be shorter. They may be not totally the prototype heights for NBA or other things, but they win. Fred VanVleet wins. Kyle Lowry wins. Alijah Martin wins. And that's pretty cool, man. So we're celebrating Alijah. I hope y'all will fill up the comments with praise, love, and appreciation for the young guard from Mississippi who's you know what? Listen, there are receipts on me talking about Alijah. I mean, I want to be coming correct here. Alijah, when you got drafted in the second round to the Raptors, I wasn't totally that pleased. I'm serious. And the reason why is on my list for the draft, I said the Raptors need a backup center. And at that point in the draft, Maxime Renaud was still available. And that was a player that we were all very high on, that we wanted to get here in Toronto on this channel. But they picked Alijah Martin. And I was like, what? What is this guy? Who's this dude? He's a guard. We needed a center. And I went and investigated a little bit more. And I was like, oh, he's a champion. He's a champion. He's a guy who has an elevator in his shoes, a man that can go from there to there real fast. There's a guy who played high school football at a high level as a quarterback. In fact, his high school stats as a quarterback in football, guys, I know you could tell he played football, right? Are very, very impressive, honestly. He could have played maybe, I don't know if he had the right body for football in the NFL or something like that, but he was a quarterback and he was actually really good in high school at football. So he's a great athlete. When I went to the 905 game, the second game of the season on a Sunday afternoon against College Park Skyhawks and sat at the court side, Alijah Martin came out at the beginning of the game. And one of his rituals is before the game starts, he does a standing leap from standing. And I tell you right now, he jumps as high as he is tall. That's what it looked like to me. He's at half court and he all of a sudden just springs. It's like Super Mario jump. I'd swear that man jumped. If he had a twin and was standing next to him, he could jump over his twin. That's how much of an athlete he is. Of course, he wowed us in Summer League with an absolutely outstanding, crazy-ass dunk in his first ever game in a Raptors jersey at Summer League. He got up there and he threw it down nasty on some poor jabroni underneath the basket. I'm telling you, man, there's something interesting. Now, the thing about Alijah recently that has opened my eyes is that he's a sure shot. That's something like at his height to survive in this ecosystem. If he's going to have an NBA career, he's going to have to hit his shots. And he's doing a great job right now. He's you can tell he's confident as a three-point shooter because when he's open, he hits it. He hits it. There's no shakiness. There's no kind of like, oh, I'm actually at the point where if I see Martin with the ball on the outside arc and nobody's near him, he's going to make it. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, oh, Elijah's going to make that. There's nobody guarding him. He'll just shoot it and it'll go through the net because he's money like that, I'm finding. And that is huge. That's going to be a huge thing that can keep him possibly in the NBA. Possibly. But nothing's guaranteed in this world. A couple years ago, I scouted the draft that Grady was in, and I said, Kobe Buffkin ain't going to be shit. Jordan Hood Shafino ain't going to be nothing in the NBA. because I can tell guys that are in college that are good that will not translate to the NBA. And I was right about both those players. They've both been bounced out of the league in less than 2 years. Kobe Buffkin, Jordan Hood, Shafino, go look for them. When I scouted that draft, I was exactly right. Now, in some ways, I've scouted Elijah, and I'm not totally sure if he's got a real NBA career. He may be one of these guys that's just in the middle, kind of there, not totally in the NBA as a full-time NBA player, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see. He has a chance. He has to really, really do things right. And he has predecessors that he can look to for the template, like Fred VanVleet. So, yeah, Elijah, do it right. Put in the work. Believe in yourself and prove me wrong, because I've said this summer consistently, and I'm still saying it. I'm not totally sure if you're a full-time NBA player. Second round, 39th pick. That is not a guarantee in any kind of way. And in some ways, like you probably have felt your whole life, you are an underdog and you're coming to get something. And if you have that determination, you can make it happen just like Fred. You can. I believe you can. You have the potential. But will you? That's the test I'm putting towards you, man. That's the test. All right, let's check in with y'all in the chat, man. First, we'll start with Trevor J. Words of wisdom. And like I said, let's praise and let's, man, I'm really impressed with him. Seriously, it's not just his athleticism's good, his open shot is good, but he's a really good team player, I can tell. And he's also he's kind of a leader on the down low. He's very young, and he's not been around long enough to really throw his weight around with leading. But I'll bet you, if he gets some time under his belt, a couple years, that man could be a very good leader for a basketball team in this league. I'm sure he's a leader already on the down low for 905 in that group with Andrew Jones. So yeah, he's a very intriguing player, very, very intriguing. And in some ways, he's along the history of undersized guards in Raptors history. It started with Damon Stoudemire, and it went all the way to Kyle Lowry and Fred VanVleet. Why not Elijah Martin? That's right. That's right. Trevor J saying this: show kindness to unkind people. Forgive people who don't deserve it. And love unconditionally. Your actions always reflect who you are. Yeah, exactly. And when they're unkind and when they don't deserve it and they do what they do, they reflect on themselves. And you don't have to participate. That's why they say when they go low, go high. Don't stoop to their level. Because if they go like that, that just makes them look bad. You go down there with them, you look bad with them. So, have some respect for yourself and don't take the bait. And if somebody is disrespecting you or something I love this. Trevor's saying, turn the other cheek. Show kindness to the unkind people. That can actually be monumentally changing. A sorry ass Scrooge in a Christmas season. Somebody's, I hate everybody. Maybe they're miserable because nobody ever showed them any kindness. And all of a sudden you show them kindness and they're like, it melts their icy heart. It's like, oh my gosh, this child smiled at me. I've never had a child smile at me. I'm an old, ugly bastard. I'm so happy because the kid is just smiling at me just innocently. Just imagine that. Somebody's an absolute prick or a jerk. They may just need a little kindness, and you may be seeing a drastic change. And the other thing is crazy if you do that to somebody like that, and all of a sudden they're like, you know what? Nobody's ever been nice to me. You may have a new ally and friend that may be very good for you to have in your life. So that's why I say put your best foot forward. And like Trevor J said, show kindness to unkind people because they're unkind because they're miserable. And you could probably help them. Seriously. Great words of wisdom, Trevor J. This is holiday season kind of words of wisdom right here. Commissioner Fund, salute to you, sir. Blessings to the Jones family and all the Raptor Freak families. That's right. Trevor J saying this about Fred VanVleet. Fred VanVleet has the best YouTube channel out there, saying he learned about Toronto from Andrew Wiggins' brother. Yeah, that was a little part in it. Like Fred was talking about Toronto and Canada and what he thought about it before he came here. When he was at Wichita State, he played with Nick Wiggins, the older brother of Andrew Wiggins. And Andrew is Wiggins' brother. And this other guy who was from Burlington, taught him about Toronto while they were at Wichita State. And I don't know if that was fortune telling, like, oh, you know what? You're going to be in Toronto, so we better tell you about it. This is a similar story to Scotty. Scotty had a similar thing happen with him with Caleb Houston. Caleb Houston and him played at Montverde, and Caleb's from Mississauga, and he taught him Toronto lingo and stuff like that. I don't know why this is so famous and weird. I think it's because of Drake, honestly. Because Fred brought it out. He's like, yeah, the only thing I knew about Toronto was, well, Drake was my favorite musician. And but I didn't really know a lot about Toronto until I talked to Nick Wiggins. And he taught me the lingo. He taught me the ways. And then when I came up to visit, it all made sense, is what Fred said. It's the same thing with Scotty and Caleb. Caleb taught Scotty about Degrassi Junior High. He taught him about all the lingo, like the way Canadians and Torontonians talk. And Scotty was ready for it. In fact, when he got drafted by the Raptors and came up here, he's like, he fit right in right away. I mean, part of it is Scotty has a Jamaican heritage, and Toronto has a very, very strong, vibrant Jamaican culture and population in the city. And in some ways, it's easy for Scott to come up here and find identity that way. You know, Freddie, when he came up here and he saw Toronto and he saw that everything that Nick and his other friend had told him was true, that you know, it was real easy for him to understand Toronto, and it clicked. He said it just clicked. Oh, now I get it. This is why, this is this, and this is that, and he loved it. He loved it. And in some ways, it's like there's a part of reason why some of these guys that become Raptors, they come up here, they play here for a year, they play here for 5 years, they love the city, and they never forget it. And some of these guys want to come back and live here afterwards because they like it up here so much. It's pretty cool. Kudos to Lou Williams for holding us up on that Run It Back podcast or whatever podcast he's on with Beetle and Chandler or whatever. Yeah, because Austin Rivers came out with a dumbass comment recently saying that he thinks that SGA isn't as popular because he's Canadian. And that's just the stupid xenophobia. This kind of gets back to Trevor's words of wisdom. Don't be an ignorant fool to an ignorant fool. Just let an ignorant fool be an ignorant fool. And Austin Rivers, you're an ignorant fool. You just have latent xenophobia. And you know what? If I was your dad, Doc, I would be disappointed in you. I'd be calling you up. I'd be like this. I'd be like, hey, Austin, what are you doing talking like that about Canada? It's not smart for your career. You know those people up there are nice and they're just like us. Why would you talk like this? Dad, I'm sorry. I'm an idiot. I know. I fucked up my whole life. I'm so sorry. Yeah. You shouldn't have done that. You know, if I was Doc Rivers, I would call Austin and tell him to tone down the xenophobia a little bit. But yeah, Lou Williams, big ups to you, man, for going on that podcast and saying, no, I don't think being Canadian has anything to do with it. If anything, that's cool. That makes it special. You know, maybe the media and people in the U.S. don't want to market SGA a certain way just because he's a Canadian guy. But that's their own damn fault. It ain't got nothing to do with SGA or Canada. That's their own damn fault. And Fred talks about this on the best podcast on YouTube right now. Hey, come on. I'm hurt, Trevor. But listen, seriously, Fred talks about it very openly, that there is a holding back of politics and different things in the NBA corporate system. In some ways, that's why a guy like him, it was so hard for him to get All-Star. He talks about it in the light of Norman Powell and him not being an All-Star last year and him not getting 6 Mans of the Year probably when he deserved them too. And that it's like there's a politics to the NBA. There's a watching, and we can see it because they're very open and blatant about privilege and who has privilege and who doesn't. If you're an American player that plays on the Celtics or the Lakers, you have tons of privilege. Oh, if you're white, oh my gosh, that's another whole level of privilege right there. And I love in some ways that this system of the NBA haves and have-nots and privilege and no privilege. It is a very good example for everybody in society to understand privilege. If you are somebody like me, that, you know what, I have tons of privilege as a white male in society. And in some ways, it's hard for me to understand the plight of somebody, person of color or a woman or somebody else that has different things that they get kind of like not privileged, or they have more obstacles in front of them. That's what privilege is, honestly. So Raptors fans, they're white males. Y'all can understand what privilege is from the way the NBA treats us and treats our players and puts us down and all this stuff. It's just, it's the hard road traveled. It's a harder road because not everything's laid out for you on a red carpet. Like Austin Reeves, who plays for Lakers, or Jason Tatum, who plays for the Boston Celtics. So yeah, it's a great social experiment to allow people that may have a lot of privilege in their normal lives, in their everyday lives as an individual. Well, if you're a part of the collective of Raptors Nation, you can feel what privilege means through the sports team. You can. Seriously, if you open your eyes and you see it. Yeah, I love that podcast so much too, Trevor. I cannot recommend Unguarded, Fred VanVleet's new podcast, enough. There's so much in it, and it's just dense with so much good stuff. Fred, you're a real one. Never change. Never change, man. Yeah, Trevor's saying, happy birthday, Martin. Martin? No, it's not his birthday today. Elijah Martin's birthday will be December the 26th, I believe. His birthday is the day, 2 days after. It's the day after Christmas, guys. Elijah will have his birthday on the day after Christmas. December the 26th is Elijah's birthday. Yeah, I believe that's right. Yeah, he's going to be 24 this year. He's going to turn 24 in 13 days. So 2 weeks from now, Trevor, this is his birthday. Yeah, I will have another great classic Christmas Raptors song for Christmas morning, guys. I'm working on it right now. I'm really excited about it. In some ways, this is going to be the hardest Christmas song I've ever sung on this channel on Christmas Day, because I'm singing a song I don't know. And I have to learn it, and I have to parody it. Well, not parody it. I have to Weird Al it. You know what I mean? And then I have to get the beats down and learn how to sing it correctly. But it's going to be a special one. I really like it so far, and it's going to be a challenge. Let's just say. So you won't want to miss it. On Christmas Day, I do not take a day off. I will be doing a short song on Christmas morning, and that will be my whole stream. It'll be a 5-minute stream. No comments. I'll come on, I'll sing the song, and I'll say, Happy Merry Christmas, and then I'll be gone for the day. And I'll see you on Boxing Day for a preview for the game the next day against Washington and the Wizards in Washington. Yeah. Let's see. Trevor J saying that last night the Sixers jumped ahead of us in the NBA standings in the Atlantic Division, and we are now in 6th place in the Eastern Conference. Yeah, this is unfortunate. This is just percentage points. We technically are the same place as them in the games back from the Detroit Pistons. But yeah, statistically, they have a few percentage points higher than us. But the thing I don't like about it, it looks bad. We're 4th in the Atlantic Division when we were 1st just a couple weeks ago. And now we're underneath the Knicks, the Celtics, and the Sixers in the divisional rankings. And I hate that. We got to change this, Raptors. We got to change this right away. I want Scotty to look at the newspaper and see the standings and say, fuck this, and come back and change it. Seriously, you guys got to have more gumption, more get back, more of this kind of stuff, Scott. You're a powerful NBA player, and you need to start forcing your will on what you want in this league with winning and wanting to be at the top of the Atlantic Division. I know this league is hard, and you've learned it's a hard league, and the learning curve has been tough, but you are strong, powerful, and a badass. You have Ninja Turtle strength, according to Jaylen Brown. So you need to take this advantage. Vince Carter wasn't mess around. He came in this league as a rookie, and he was playing big time with big time clutch and big time minutes and big time plays to make the Raptors win immediately in his first couple years on the team. You got to, you're 5 in. And in some ways, your talent is different on a different schedule, and that's fine. I get that. But there's got to be a certain point, Scotty Barnes, where you turn it on, you say, nah, if I'm going to be a top superstar in this league, I'm going to control things more with the will and my athleticism and my supreme talent in this league. You got to do that, Scott. If you see the standings this morning, just like I did, now you get pissed off just like me to see Nick Nurse's team above you in the Atlantic Division. That's your gumption, bro. You need a little bit of Michael in you, bro. If you could be like Mike, please be like Mike, because that man was a terrorist when he felt like he needed to go do something to prove something to somebody. If he felt even slighted the littlest, he looked for anything to get mad at somebody to go off on them. I need you to get this going, Scott, because I know you're a nice guy. In some ways, you don't have any enemies in the NBA. Because you're just like, no, I don't want to have anybody like that. You don't have to have enemies individually, but you need to have enemies that are teams, and you need to go out there and beat them, is what I'm saying right now, Scott. So no more lollygagging. And when RJ comes back, there's no excuse. Y'all need to kick some major ass and get back to the top of the Eastern Conference and the Atlantic Division. That's it right there. That's it right there. All right, we got the super fan Monique Lawrence in the house. Good morning, Raptor Freak crew. I said it once, and I'll say it again. I knew Alijah was going to be a great player. Some didn't believe me when I talked. Listen, he has the it factor. Happy for the guy. All right, she's talking directly at me because in some ways, Monique has been misunderstanding what I'm saying. In some ways, this is what I said, Mo, and I said it earlier. I'm not totally sure if he's a full-time NBA player that'll have an NBA career. That's the only criticism I said of him this year. And part of why I'm saying this is to light a fire under Alijah Martin, to prove me wrong. In some ways, I need to do this action. I will praise him. I will not detract him, but I will tell him, I don't know if you have it. Like I said, Kobe Buffkin didn't have it. Jordan Hood Schifino didn't have it. Well, prove me wrong, Alijah Martin, and show me you have it. This is different than what you're saying. I don't argue that he's not a winner. I just opened this whole show with a whole monologue about how Alijah Martin is a winner. I can see that. I can see that he's a great shooter. I can see that he's a great dunker. But I also see the terrain of the NBA and how difficult it is to make it in this league and to be a player, even like Chris Boucher, that gets 10 years in the league as a guy who came in through a 10-day contract to a 2-way contract. Chris Boucher is the exception, not the rule. It's so hard to make the NBA. Ask Marquise Noel. It's so hard to make the NBA. Ask David Johnson. You know, these guys are the guys that are in the same position as Alijah Martin. And where are they, Monique? David Johnson's in Tasmania, and Marquise Noel is in Spain. I'm just saying, Fred, Chris Boucher, these guys are special, and they stuck around. But, you know, there's no guarantees for Alijah. And that's all I've been saying about this. If he's a great player in the NBA, I'll be very happy for him. But he's got to prove me wrong because I don't know if he's going to make it. That's what I'm going to say right now. I'm just saying that. There's a difference in what I'm saying and what you're saying. I know he's a great player in college. I know that he's a winner. But that doesn't mean this will translate to the bigger level. That's the thing I'm trying to say, Mo. I'm trying to say this. And it's like, it's not that I don't believe you. You can blindly believe in him that he's going to do this and do that. I'm just being realistic here. That's all I'm saying. And Alijah, prove me wrong if you don't like what I'm saying right here. Seriously. I love you, man. You're fun. You're a smiley guy. You can jump like an elevator. And I want to see you succeed. Don't get me wrong. It's just I'm trying to be real here. And in some ways, a Raptors fan that's so positive like me, in some ways, I have to be tethered to reality in some areas. And this is the one. Out of all the guys, I'm not believing in Chucky either at this point. I don't think Chucky's going to make the NBA either at this point. And I think it's only because Chucky can't shoot a shot consistently. He could have a good chance in some ways. Yeah. Superfan Mo saying Alijah Martin deserves every ounce of player of the week in the G League. I won't disagree with that. The record's been fantastic. And that week in particular that he won player of the week, he averaged like 30 points a game, I think, or something like that almost. The thing that pissed me off was how the hell did Andrew Jones not win coach of the week? You know, they gave it to the Spurs coach and he had a loss in that week. And I'm like, what? Why wouldn't you give this to Andrew Jones? This man's undefeated. The 905 are the absolute best team in the G League, and we should be sweeping all their awards right now. All of them. That's a weird thing. I was like, why isn't Andrew Jones the coach of the week? That's messed up. That don't make no sense. Excuse me. Superfan Mo saying, as Bobby Webster, Alijah will get more opportunities with a big club before you even know it. Well, he's a two-way, of course. Of course. But he's been in 2 games so far. He hasn't got his first basket yet. But I know he will. And in some ways, like, look, if Alijah came in the last 2 years before this year, he probably would have more time and baskets already. If he was on the team last year with the team we had, this year we uptick all the talent and the hierarchy has gotten higher up and it's harder to jump in as a two-way immediately and get a lot of time on the Raptors. There's just not a lot of time in that for right now. But I agree. He's going to get his opportunity at some point this season. And I'm a big, big endorser of Darko using the two ways on the Raptors more going forward. Because, the fatigue of the season has set in and we see how worn down our guys are. Well, let's use our depth and our two ways from Mississauga to help with this. Because, Alijah Martin, You know, in the NBA, he's very useful as a point of attack point guard that can just be a dog and just annoy the hell out of the other point guards. You know, if he doesn't score at all, at least do that. And then, if you can get some assists, maybe pass them people, or you hit your open threes, you'll be fine. You just got to guard guys like a dog, really get on them. You cannot get beat and be a bad mismatch where you're getting hurt. You're hurting us. But there's a way, there's a path for him. It's just it's really, really going to be hard. And you know what? Like I said, I hope he does it. It's just I don't know if he will. That's all I'm saying. Most saying this. I've been in every chat for 905 rooting for Elijah and no one else. You don't root for anybody else on the team? You root for AJ too, don't you? I'm rooting for all of them, except for maybe Olivier Sarr. I'm just kidding. Isaac's here. Isaac's got the starting five of Lex. Thank you, Isaac, this morning for doing that. Let's do straight goods on Canadian goods. Since we got such a great Canadian in the house and Isaac Campbell holding it down in the nation's capital, Ottawa, just is such a great guy. Let's talk about Canadian water. Water is a scarce source. In some ways, clean water is going to be something that's going to be so valuable in the near future because of, hopefully we can get more of it instead of losing more of it. But like some of the people in power are really stupid about laws and environmental regulations. They're trying to roll them back. And we need clean water acts. And we need to protect our water supplies because it's like poisoning ourselves if we don't. But anyway, here's a Canadian water company that I like to buy water from. Ice River. The green bottle is distilled water. And this is 100% Canadian spring water, bottled, and nothing to do with any other country except for ours. Is this bottle of water? So straight goods on Canadian goods. Water is the essence of life. So make it 100% Canadian, bottled, and from a spring here. And Ice River is a great company to get your bottled water from. And there's the little Canada symbol right there. You see it on the bottle right there. So yeah, Ice River, you can buy it and feel like you're supporting Canada and our country. Seriously, this is a serious thing, y'all. This tariff war and the bullshit that's going on with the states, and the fact that the states are becoming more and more like Russia as a kleptocracy oligarchy. We got to watch out because they're already making overtures like they want to attack Venezuela. And they're making a policy that's saying we are in charge of this whole entire hemisphere and we can do whatever the hell we want. Elbows up. And the best way we can do this is we cannot support American companies in this country. Stop going to McDonald's. Stop going to Starbucks. Stop going to the American products to buy them at the grocery store. We need to do this as a collective in this country. It's working. There's no publicity on this. There's no publicity on this because the American media is controlling the Canadian media other than the CBC right now. But we are hurting them financially through not sending tourist dollars down there because nobody's going to the States right now on tourism. And that includes not just Canada, but Europe, Australia, and a lot of other places in the world. Nobody's trying to go to the States right now. And we stopped buying their products. Coca-Cola is not going to advertise their drop in sales in Canada. They're not. They don't want anybody to know it because if people know just how well they're doing, it will snowball and it get worse and worse for them. So they're lying. They're not even telling you how bad we're hurting them. Because if they advertise how powerful we are as consumers and where we direct our money, we would know we have more power. And they don't want us to wake up to what a giant we are because the power is in the people. And if each individual made decisions like me at the grocery store and boycotted all American products, we are definitely hurting them bottom line wise. And the other thing is we're diverting our money towards our own country and our own economy to make more jobs, to sell more of this for this company that's in Canada instead of Nestle or whatever stupid ass company, Zephyr Hills or some ass shit from coming down from Sound South. So seriously, this is working. In fact, Canada has a surplus this year in their economy because so many Canadians reverted their money to Canadian products away from American products. And this isn't just a temporary thing. I'm doing this for life. This is my habits now. My habit is to never buy American products ever again for the rest of my life as much as possible. There's some things you just guilty pleasures or something you're just going to have to get sometimes because there's nothing else other than that. I get it. like the NBA. Although the CBL is there. Yeah, it is. But I'm just saying, y'all, this is huge. And even if you guys just make a couple of minor decisions in your buying habits and where you spend your money, you are helping. And you know what? Snowball it. Make it even more and more. When you go to the grocery store, I challenge y'all to not buy a single American product. You don't buy the Heinz ketchup. You buy the French's ketchup. You don't buy the Bush's beans. You buy the Sprague beans because there are Canadian equivalents in those grocery stores. And this is huge to help our country. This is huge to help our economy. And this is huge to help keep us sovereign and free, away from the bullshit of the country below us right now. So seriously, we got to do this, y'all. Elbows up isn't just a funny little saying. This is a real thing. And we're doing a good job. A lot of us that are clued in on it and already doing it. And more of y'all can help us. And that's why I'm saying, don't buy the American water. Buy Ice River. Because Ice River is a good Canadian company. And the more we buy their product, the more they get to hire Canadians to work for them. And they expand. And we grow our economy, and we stop supplementing the United States economy. You know, that's the dirty little secret on the down low. It's not that we leech off of them. They're a parasite off of us. Because their corporations and big U.S. companies have been coming up here, selling stuff to us and making money off us for a long, 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 long time. And well, we've done it to the detriment of our own businesses. So let's change that today, guys. And I'm not asking for wholesale changes if you're not comfortable with it. If you really need your McDonald's McSwirly or whatever bullshit they got, go ahead. Maybe say goodbye to it and never go back. And go to A&W or Harvey's instead. There's better opportunities for you to buy Canadian, and I want you to look for them every single day. There you go. There's your straight goods on Canadian goods. That's right. Change your habits, your spending habits, and support your country. And keep it true north, strong and free. That's what I got to say right there. That's it right there, right there. Boom goes the dynamite. Drop the mic, Lex. It's expensive. I don't want to. Fiercely saying this. Good morning, fam, and happy Saturday. Elijah, wishing him continuous growth and a great career. That's right. That's what I want for him too. But you know what? I want to change the whole story about what a great career is. Does Mike Batiste have a great career? You're damn right he does. And Giannis Sky would come in here and tell us, as a Greek fan who's in Greece, who knows all about the bulldozer Mike Batiste, our assistant coach. But a lot of people over here won't know who Mike Batiste is. Did he have a bad career? Hell no. He's a Hall of Famer and one of the greatest players in EuroLeague. And it's just because he didn't do it in the United States. As Jared Roden said when he showed up in Paris, it's like there's more to this world than the NBA. And he's over there kicking some major ass over there. Eugene Omoruyi, Marquise Noel, Kobe Simmons on the Baskonia. That's a very, very accomplished team that's just got a lot of rich history in Spain. You know, there's other places to play. It's only that the Americans make it so NBA centric that, you know, it's hard to get into the NBL or the BAL or Euro basket and stuff like that because they don't advertise it or show it in the States. And the NBA is the only show on the planet. They don't even talk about CBL down there. They have no idea what the CBL is in Canada, down in the States. So it's like, understand, there's different levels of professional success. And even if you don't make the NBA, Elijah Martin, you can make a great professional career and do a lot of fantastic things. Just ask Jordan Lloyd. Just ask Lorenzo Brown. Just ask Mike Batiste. I'm telling you, there's more to this world than the NBA in basketball. There's a lot more to this world. That's right. That's right. That's it right there. Neil's here. Good to see Neil checking in. He's gone from the Vince Carter dunk logo to owls to now dinosaurs. And I like that. I like the dinosaurs, Neil. That's good. I like that. Yeah, Superfan Mo saying, I love that Elijah looks up to Norman Powell. Yeah, that's a great person to look up to. Now, Elijah, if you're doing the work like the grind that Norman does, you're going to get somewhere for sure. Norman's a maniac. In some ways, it's crazy. Like some people, I've heard more and more stories of like, you know, Siakam works hard. Yeah, Rico Hines says Siakam is the hardest working player he's ever worked with. But Norman Powell's rivaling Pascal Siakam. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And Freddie, he's in there somewhere. But like, that's why they got along so well. Fred VanVleet and Norman Powell, birds of a feather. They're not messing with their lives. They had very aligned views and visions. And that's why they were so close as teammates on the Raptors. And they're still close to this day. Freddie, I'd say get Norman on your Unguarded podcast as your first guest. That would be cool to hear you kick it with him and just kind of talk, friendly, just like you guys are as friends, with the guard down authentically. That'd be cool to hear Norman and Fred riff. Maybe you get Siakam on your Unguarded podcast. He's asking us, y'all, I'm going to get guests. Who should I get on my show? I'm saying go get your old Raptor teammates that you're absolutely close friends with, Siakam and Powell. That'd be a fantastic podcast to watch right there. That's right. Isaac Campbell saying this. Elijah Martin in the 905 making G League history every game, showing that team play is winning basketball. Yeah, that's a big advantage in the G League. When you play as a team in the G League, well, you have a better chance to win than a collection of individuals just trying to selfishly make the NBA. And that's a lot of what G League is. Yeah, it's tough to do, man. It's tough to do to get these guys to buy in this way. But you know what? They're smart because a lot of the philosophy throughout the Raptors organization, whether it's with the Raptors or the 905, is if you do the work and you do the team stuff and you make the sacrifices for your teammates and for the team, it'll all work out because you'll win and it'll all work out individually for you after that. And that's true. You could look at the guys who came up that I just named, Siakam, Powell, VanVleet, all those guys. If they had been selfish in their young careers and coming up in G League, maybe they didn't get that G League championship in 2017, sorry. And then maybe if they're selfish, they don't get the careers they got. Freddie is not the way he is. He doesn't make the league, right? Because he just barely made the league. That's the one thing people don't give Fred VanVleet enough credit, because that man, he went the hard way to make the league. And he went all the way up to an all-star and a champion. So, man, it's true. The team sacrifice you have to do first to get the individual accolades later, from the sacrifice to the team success to the individual accolades afterwards. And Scotty gets this. He talks about it all the time in interviews. He said, I know we got to do this, and then they'll start to give us the praise and the accolades after that, because it's disrespectful. They put him 11th on the under 25 list. That's disrespectful. He should be flipped with Cooper Flagg on that ranking right now. Right now it should be. And he should be above Evan Mobley. That's right. Kareem Thomas is in the house. Good to see our dunk champion. Let's see what he's saying here. I should get out to some 905 games. They're such an amazing team to watch. Literally has 2017 905 written all over it. It would be good to witness these young guys before they eventually become champions on the big squad. Yeah, listen, I'm about that. KT, I already went to a game this year. It was fantastic. And, well, we'll figure out another game in the new year. On a Sunday afternoon, I'll probably come back out there again, maybe once or twice before the season's over. I do plan to try and make another 905 game next year in the new year on a Sunday. And we'll figure out the exact date, and we'll get it organized. I'd love for you to come with me. And we could go watch the game, both of us. And whoever else wants to come with us. We'll make it a big thing. And we'll go down there. That's right. Yeah. Winners win. Yeah. I want to see Elijah get some game winners. I want to see him do some clutch stuff. It hasn't totally been that on 905 with the way they're winning. A lot of the games have been routes where they win by like 30 or 20 and it's not even close. But I do want to see some clutch situations where it's a little tight, where he's got to do something to help us win at the end. The game that was close this week, in some ways, there has been a game recently, not the one, this last one, that was close, that Chucky kind of did the clutch work at the end of the game. Chucky hit a big three in a game last week, and then he had some free throws that he got to the line to seal the deal, and he got a clutch kind of performance at the end. I want to see Elijah do this too. I want to see him hit a game winner. I want to see him take over at the end. AJ's also done some clutch work for 905 so far this season. Elijah's done a little bit there, here and there, but I want to really see like a game where it was Martin who took over in the last couple minutes at 905 and sealed the deal for Andrew Jones's team. I want to see that because I know he's got that in him. That's right. Winners win. Well, he's an NCAA champion, and that's a winner right there. That's it. Superfan said, I said the same thing about Chucky the other day. Shooting is off, but still winning. Yeah, Chucky, I'm really worried about Chucky's baby. Like he just had this kid, 2-month-old, and if he's being a very active parent, in some ways, I don't know, the mother, man, you shouldn't. This is not good timing. Like somebody said in the 905 chat the other day that if I was a pro, I wouldn't be having kids until after I was done because it's not really good timing, Chucky. I don't know if you did family planning or anything with this, or you just decided, yeah, we're gonna have a kid right now, right at the beginning of my NBA career. It's not good planning. Let's just put it that way. And if his shot is suffering because he's not sleeping at night because he's having to take care of a newborn, that's a problem. That's a problem right there because he is not shooting well. His last game, he was 0 for 6. He didn't make a single damn shot. But yeah, you're right. He's still winning. And if he can find a way to contribute to the team without making shots, like the assist to turnover ratio, steals, really good defense, that's great. That's great. He's useful, even if he's not making shots. That's a very good thing that'll get you somewhere in this league. But man, he's got to start making his shots. They've looked really bad. Like he's way short on some of them and just poor shot selection too on some of them too. So we got to see him. We got to see him do better, man. We got to see him do better. But yeah, they're still winning, and that's what we want to see. Kaloy saying this: Hey Lex, what is your thoughts about Hollinger ranking the Raps at 21 as an organization? Fair or two finger salute? I think that it's a. I don't know if John Hollinger had an affinity for Masai Ujiri. I think in some ways there is this him trying to say without Masai, you guys dropped from a top 5 organization to a bottom 10. That's crazy. Well, he is stupid. It's not true. You know, the consistency from the change of Masai departing into Bobby being in charge, nothing's really changed drastically. So it kind of shows that John Hollinger is kind of like an idiot. He's not an expert because first of all, we're having more success this year than we've had in recent years, and nothing's really changed. So I don't get the drop. If he wants to do that as a tribute to Ujiri and say, "Well, Masai's gone, the Raptors have dropped from a top 5 organization to 21." If that's his reasoning, okay, that's very nice of you to respect Masai that way, but it's not the truth about who we are. I would say if you want to drop us, we're still top 10. We're definitely not in the bottom 10. And I don't think we're in the middle 10 either. And John Hollinger, your reputation takes hits when you put this out. But what is his point? His point is to shape perception and try and tell the story for the Raptors over the Raptors without even looking at the truth. I mean, that's most of the case with ESPN. That's most of the case right there. And in some ways, we could even say the Raptors dissing and like disrespect is going to increase partly because of some of the things that are going on in the world politically right now. That like, American writers are going to amp up even more. Like, they're just the Canadian team. I'm not going to watch them, so I won't have an educated opinion about them because I don't even watch them. So I'll just write shit in that's confusing. It's like it's funny because in the last power rankings, Kevin Pelton or Zach Cram, is Cram, I think. He wrote that the Raptors' biggest weakness is they don't get to the foul line enough, like compared to their teams. So that's just you telling on the refs for being biased against us. If that's our weakness, is okay. If the refs finally start calling the calls right and we get more free throws, okay, then we don't really have a bad weakness because that's really on the refs. How many free throw attempts and free throws made the Raptors make, Zach Cram? ESPN, once again, jackasses. And really, is this the best sports authority at this point in the world? No, I don't know who it is at this point. It's sad because ESPN used to be the worldwide leader in sports. But now they're just a glorified sports TMZ and a glazing network that glazes the Lakers. That's all they are at this point, man. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I don't have to give Hollinger a two-finger salute because it's dubious whether he's honoring Ujiri with that or he's just stupid. And I'll give him the benefit of the doubt right now because he has been fair to the Raptors in the past, but that is way too far to drop us. And you're going to have to amend that for next year, John Hollinger, after the Raptors get the playoffs and they make some noise, is what I'm going to say to that. Yeah, Milbester's here. Our Knicks fan is in the house. What's up, Lex? Guys, I'm apparently excited because news from big news sources broke out last night. Apparently, the Wolves spoke to Knicks and Pelicans on a 3-team trade package for Dante and Alvarado. So you're saying that you guys will get Jose Alvarado and Dante back? Is that what you're saying? You're saying that Wolves want our 2026 protected first round pick that goes 1 through 8 and could become 2 second-round picks and could go for a third number 31, which can help Minnesota as a first apron team. And Knicks want Dante back. Yeah, you guys want your Villanova set back. I don't even understand why you traded that part of the quartet. This is like, isn't this the whole point? You got Mikhail is to have the Villanova Wildcats all together, and then you traded Dante like that? That was messed up. I don't know. Whatever you're doing, I don't care. This isn't Knicks Freak. And the inner little nuts and bolts of what you're telling me about, well, it's still speculation until it happens. And honestly, this is a minor deal. But, whatever. We'll have to monitor this, and we'll have to see what happens in the Atlantic Division with these guys. Yeah, I like Alvarado too. I've had him on my fantasy team a couple times this year already. He's an interesting player. He's an interesting player. He's from New York too. Okay, well that'll fit, right? Blackhawks saying this: Chucky will be fine. I hope so. I hope so. Like I said, it's just not good family planning. Seriously, I mean, if it was just something he was going to do anyway, I don't know. It's just not smart. It's just not smart. And then you got guys like Gary Trent Jr. who don't even try and have a girlfriend because they know it's a distraction. Chucky's out there having babies right when he starts his NBA career. I mean, it's his choice. It's his life. It's just he's making it harder for himself. Seriously. That's it right there. Neil saying this: put AJ in for RJ and let JW back him up while RJ is out, and have Elijah come off the bench to bring energy and defense. You said JW. I never think of that. That's Jacoby, right? Yeah. When you do initials like that, that doesn't help me. That's JW. Okay. Jacoby Walter. That's who he meant. Okay. So put AJ in for RJ and let Jacoby back him up while RJ is out, and have Elijah come off the bench to bring energy and defense. Man, I hope RJ can be back very soon. Like, what if RJ just misses this Miami game and he's back for the next game, guys? And we're almost through this period of time where Barrett's not playing for us. That'd be fantastic. He should be back soon, guys. Seriously. I don't know how long this cortisol shot or whatever he took last week has to run through him. And then hopefully, I mean, they're saying he's reassessed. Either way, RJ, just get back, man. We need to get back to winning. These other teams are jumping over us in the standings, and we got to get back to what we were doing just like a month ago. It was so good. It was so good. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I wouldn't mind Elijah getting into the rotation on certain nights with the Raptors. He's not full-time rotation, but if he could get like, and I don't want him to do garbage minutes. I don't want him to be a backup just in case somebody gets in foul trouble. I want him to be in the plans for the rotation that night, and to get out there and get 10 to 15 minutes, just hand it to him in the middle of when the game matters, not at the end of the game. I want that for all three of the two ways because we really got to test them. And as far as I'm concerned, AJ is the one who needs the minutes the most because he's really is proven and he's bona fide. He can play in the NBA. He should be in the NBA full time, honestly. And Chucky, he's kind of had his shots against the Knicks in a couple games and not really looked that good. So I say Elijah next. And, maybe we'll come around and wait till we see Chucky. Maybe his baby's got to get older. Or if he starts hitting his shot in 9:05, then we start saying, Chucky, you come out and play rotation, a little bit of rotation minutes on the Raptors. I don't know. Either way, AJ, I rank him number 1 two-way, Elijah number 2, and Chucky third right now. But that's shuffled. I had it different. I had Elijah at the bottom in the summer league. But at this point, with the 12-0 start and the G League Player of the Week and the great shooting of Elijah, I have it AJ, Elijah, Chucky as far as the hierarchy with the two ways. That's the way I look at it there. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. All right. Milbester's going off here, eh? Yeah, we should tell him to hold up now. Monique is saying this: the Scotiabank Arena has been named the #1 arena in Canada by Billboard for 2025. Yeah. This is actually an award that Scotiabank Arena has pretty much won every year. Every year. Because in some ways, the Scotiabank Arena is on the level of Madison Square Garden. Some people, Milbester may laugh at that, but that's actually true. We have a very huge amount of people that come through the turnstiles at our arena here in Toronto. And it's not just for the Raptors and the Leafs. It's for concerts. It's for wrestling. It's for so many different events that they have at that venue. And these rankings are figured out from that. They're figured out from how busy is the arena, how much is going on there and how many people come through those doors. And Scotiabank Arena gets numbers like Madison Square Garden. So in Canada, there's not really many teams that are going to rival us because there's no other Canadian NBA team. So what? The arena out in Vancouver is only got the Canucks. They're not going to have the same kind of attendance. They're not going to have the same kind of numbers as Scotiabank Arena. So it's really our award to win every year, Monique. And this is not something that is new. We've won this award, I think, pretty consistently for the last 25 years as the number one arena in Canada here in Toronto at Scotiabank Arena. Now, how we rank against the US and places like Madison Square Garden, we're actually pretty high there too, guys. Actually, we are. We're probably a top 10 arena in the whole of North America at Scotiabank Arena. I think we've been top 5 at times even. You know, we can look at the different arenas around the NBA, and Scotiabank does really good. Seriously, it's considered one of the top of the line arenas in the whole entire NBA. So I'm not surprised by this at all, Monique. We win this award every year. Who's going to beat us? Bell Center, Rogers Arena? No, Scotiabank Arena. That's right. That's right. We gonna win that one. Yeah, because Montreal's arena is pretty good too, but they don't have an NBA team. No, no. And Vancouver don't either. Was Calgary? No, Calgary's not going to win this. Edmonton's not going to win this. They don't have enough traffic through that city. That's another part of it right there. That's another part of it. Yeah. Stargate saying, oh my God, there is not Knicks Freak channel that Melbester can take this Knicks shit to. Good Lord. Yeah, there are probably a bunch of Knicks channels. Maybe I don't know. Melbester maybe goes to those channels too. He just likes checking in with us too. I don't know. Either way, he's not annoying me too much. I mean, he is talking a lot of Knicks right now, but in some ways, it's like this is interesting. I didn't know about this trade. We'll see if it actually happens. We'll see if it actually happens. I do believe that they were stupid to trade Dante for Cat. I really didn't like that trade for them. I think that Randall, in some ways, like also didn't really like that either. But either way, it's done, and we'll see what happens next. Yeah, I'm going to skip the next comment in honor of Stargate. How about that, Stargate? There you go. We're skipping that one. Yeah, Jacoby. That's right, Jacoby. That's what you meant. That's right. Let's see. And I'm going to skip the next one, too, by Milbester. And I'll skip the third one by Milbester, too. Blackhawk's saying this. When you need to raise the defense, you tap into AJ and Elijah. Well, all three of them. I mean, Chucky is a defensive player of the year for the Atlantic Coast Conference. And, that's a big deal. All three of them. That's why I was like, man, we got a lot of more defense in our draft between Colin Murray-Boyles, Elijah Martin, and then the undrafted Chucky Hepburn. It's like we're going spam steal. And I was even joking about that around Summer League. And then all of a sudden, Blake Murphy said it on his Blue Skies afterwards. Like, this team is like a spam steal game in a video game. I know. I said that like 2 weeks before you did, Blake. I said, yeah, this team is basically in Summer League is going to be like when you play a video game and your little nephew just hits the steal button over and over again and keeps stealing the ball from you. And that's what happened. We saw it at Summer League. The Chucky, Elijah, AJ, all three of those guys are premium stealers. Like, they are good at stealing the ball. And we need to see that on the big level. I want to see Elijah Martin and Chucky Hepburn stealing the ball left and right and getting fast break points going the other way. You want to make your first NBA points, gentlemen? Go steal the ball and go make it. Just take the damn ball. You had Tyler Kolek, Chucky Hepburn. You were guarding. You should have stole that ball straight up from that young man. I was like, this matchup, it seems like Chucky should just be able to take that ball from that guy and just run back the other way and lay it up. I was waiting for you to do it, Chucky, when you were matched up with Kolek. Alas, you didn't. And I'm just saying, if you guys really want to make your points, get a steal and run it back and get a dunk. Elijah Martin. That's right. You won't get your first NBA basket. Go take it. Go take it literally with a steal. That's what I'm saying right there. That's right. That's right. That's what I want to see right there. That's right. Neil saying this, you have to do it without disrupting the 905 streak. I don't know. This is one of the weird things about the Raptors organization in the past few years with the 905. I don't really feel like they take into account helping the 905 to do things right. And it's like dumb things like taking players away from them in crucial games to bring them up to the Raptors. And the game with the Raptors is non-consequential, but the G League team is actually playing for something. I don't know if they actually prioritize that. Because as Andrew Jones says, is like what we're doing is to serve Darko and the Raptors. And if Darko decides he wants to come down and just take people from the 905 and have them up there, and the 905 suffer for it and lose for it. They're not worried about that apparently. I don't know. I wish they would. The competitor in me is like, let's game this strategically the right way and let's place guys in the right places for the right things to happen for the best success for both teams. And I hope that they don't do something weird because you don't want to disrupt the 905 streak for sure. And, AJ not playing the last game worried me because in some ways you could say AJ played 2 nights in a row already because he played in the Raptors game the night before the first Delaware Bluecoats game. So if he played again on the third day, it would be a back to back to back. And in some ways, AJ playing in that game in the quarterfinals of the knockout tournament and playing against the Knicks maybe was part of the reason why he didn't play on Thursday against the Bluecoats. And we were down by 21 at the half. Does that make sense? Does that make sense right there? Because that makes sense to me right there. That makes sense to me. Yeah. Okay. I see that Isaac Campbell's deleting Milbester. Why did you do that? All right. I might read a couple of them just to see. Did you check them to see if they're all Nick's comments? If they're all Nick's comments, then we'll go ahead and just skip them. Yeah. He's just going on and on about Dante DiVincenzo and stuff like that. Yeah, we're just gonna ignore that. Neil saying this: hustle, loyalty, respect. I like that. I like that. Chloe's saying, I can't wait until Giannis ruins the Knicks. All right, you get a dunk. you get a dunk. What if Milbester's all going on and on about this, and then they actually do the thing for Giannis instead, and they don't get Dante, and then Giannis ruins the team? 100, man. You just got the century mark, Kaloy. That's right. Kudos to you, my guy. 100 for a great, funny joke. That's so hilarious, man. All right, one more time. I'm gonna just look and I'll just see. Yeah, okay, yeah, we'll just skip that. Yeah, why not? Monique saying this: I love how you throw Kawhi under the bus yesterday. Had me laughing. Of course, Kawhi can't pass DeMar. I know, Monique. Thank you for that information. We were talking about DeMar DeRozan passing Vince Carter on the all-time scoring list in the NBA yesterday. That he just passed him. He's got more points than Vince, and that's a big accomplishment. And we talked about how, Vince played so long and he didn't even have as many as DeMar. And DeMar's playing less career years than Vince. It's because Vince was more of a role player in the second half of his career, and he didn't average as much high. He didn't stay at a high level like a DeMar DeRozan, like a LeBron James. So it's interesting. Now, you compare Kawhi, because Kawhi, his history with missing games and how long he's been in this league. He is like 157 on the all-time NBA scoring list. 157. And I was joking in the chat, and Monique loved it. She laughed out loud about it. I said, yeah, Kawhi ain't never going to catch DeMar. He may have that chip with us, and he may have finished the group project that DeMar started. But, he'll never, ever catch DeMar DeRozan for individual scoring in the NBA all-time list because DeMar is now 22, and he will be in the top 20 before he's done. And Kawhi Leonard will be lucky if he breaks the top 100. Seriously, at 157. So, yeah, I love that. In some ways, that is a beautiful thing for a Raptors fan that, a real one like DeMar, in some ways, he did that grind. He has that DeRozan code. He's been available. He's been healthy. He's been strong. He's been there. He's accumulated, and he is a Hall of Famer. Kawhi is probably a Hall of Famer too, but his individual accolades will not stack up to DeMar DeRozan's at the end of it all. In some ways, like individual for stats is what I'm saying right there. Yeah, I loved it too, Mo, and I'm glad you got a chuckle out of that. Thank you for sharing that stat for me. Yeah, I really like that. It was really cool. Let's see. Yeah, we're just going to skip Milbester. He's talking about all the other teams, and we ain't doing that, man. This is Raptors Freak. We talk Raptors basketball. I'm not talking Pistons. I'm not talking Knicks. So, Milbester, you got to get back on point. At least you're not talking baseball like crazy right now. Cool Cat's here. Good morning, Raptors Freak crew. Good morning to the coach, Cool Cat. Always great to have you in the live with us. Wayne is saying this. Good morning to Wayne, Sergeant at Arms. Morning, Raptor Freaks. My vision for Alijah is not to be one who takes over games per se, but an upgraded version of Oshai without the timidity of getting his hit attacking the rim and defending aggressive. There could be parallels between Abaji and Martin. They have very similar football shoulders. as far as like these guys are built like football players with their upper body and their strength. And Elijah could probably take a lot of stuff that Abaji's doing already in the NBA and learn from it. One of the best areas, and he's done pretty good at this so far from what I've seen in 905, is finishing in transition. Elijah, you watch Oshai and see how he protects the ball and how he goes with strength in the NBA against the NBA size and strength, and how he's able to finish and transition with interference and physical contact. That's very, very tough to do. You have to be very strong and you have to be very confident to do that. And Oshai is one of the best in the NBA. No lie. Now, Elijah, if you could mimic him and being like that, that'd be great. That is somebody definitely you should be trying to get some notes off of. And well, this is kind of in the style of Norman Powell, too, one of your heroes. So it makes sense. It makes sense. I don't think Oshai's timid. If you're trying to say that, Wayne, I would not say that at all. I would not say that at all. Yeah. But yeah, I think that he's a great role model for him to learn how to finish in the NBA as maybe a smaller guy against bigger guys by using your strength. Yeah, let's keep going. Neil's saying this. John Cena, congratulations on your retirement. Okay, this is how you do it, Chris Paul and LeBron. I have no idea what I know. I heard about John Cena retiring and people doing tributes to him, but I did not watch any of this, so I have no idea how he did it. I have no idea how he did it, whether it's a match or whatever, this or that. In some ways, once again, I'm not watching current wrestling, but I guess congratulations to John Cena. I can't see it. I didn't see it. I can't see him, Neil. I couldn't see him. So stupid. All right, let's see. Cool Cat saying this. Raptors need to settle down and focus on getting to another gear. Enough footage is available for opponents on how to exploit our weakness. Focus and every possession matters. I think we just became too predictable with RJ out. RJ's like a wild card. He's somebody you can't totally understand where he's going to be coming at you in certain ways. And I think with Brandon, he's a little too predictable right now. That's why I don't totally want to feed him the ball over and over again, because I think we need to diversify things. And there's a very interesting conversation going on with the Spurs today, because the Spurs are playing in their NBA Cup semifinal against the Thunder, and Wemby is available, right? Wemby's going to play for them today, and it's an added bonus, but some people are stressing about this because they're worried that what's going to happen is when Wemby comes back, they're going to feed Wemby, spam him, giving him the ball over and over again. It's going to hurt the progress they've made while he's been out and some of the work that guys like Castle and Vassell and Dylan Harper and different people like that are doing in the absence of Victor. So a lot of Spurs fans are calling out right now to have a diversified offense like we were doing earlier this year and not just go totally to Wemby over and over again. Because first of all, he's coming back. He's going to be a little off. And that just makes sense. So I would agree with Spurs Nation that are wary of Wembanyama coming back tonight for their cup game and say, let's not feed him Mitch Johnson. Let's give the ball around and continue to do some of the stuff that's been successful while he's been out. I would say we need to do a similar thing with Brandon, because we go to Brandon over and over again. That starts turning into Lou Williams in the last 2 seconds, Dwayne Casey calling his number every single time at the end of the game. The sixth man got the sixth man in the six. We don't need to do that. We need to have a diversity to our offense that keeps the defense guessing. And I feel like in some ways we stagnated with Brandon and his pattern of what he does as far as when he gets the ball. It's too easy to figure out. And I think Cool Cat's got something right here. So somehow, some way, whether it's getting Scotty more into play, whether it's IQ doing a little bit more in certain ways too, I don't know. We just got to figure this out. Every possession matters. I agree. Yeah. Isaac saying this. Whoops, Mobester, I accidentally did that. Did you really, Isaac? I don't believe Isaac right here. I don't believe him. He's saying that, but I don't believe him right now. He's gonna get a dunk. 197 for Isaac Campbell. I don't think you accidentally did that. I'm not gonna lie right now. I'm not gonna lie. I think that is all right. Let's see. Randolph's here. Good to see Randolph Phillips. Blessings, beloved Raptor Freaks family. Live in anticipation of what others bring to life's table that helps to make this world so much a better place, and add your best. That's right. Some people out there are going to be adding misery, suffering, and sadness and away in an ivory tower because they just have all the money and they don't even understand. They're so detached from the profound effects of just awfulness that they put towards people for their own ill-gotten gains. It's sad. So let's be individually people that go out in the world and do good and put good in the world, put smiles on faces. I was out running errands yesterday, and every single person I came across, I tried to be my witty, goofy self. And I got a lot of laughs and I got a lot of smiles, and I made people's days better. And, I say, you know what? Thank you. Bless you and have a great day. I say that a bunch of people yesterday, and I left people with smiles and happiness. That's what you can do. You can do that. And once again, if you meet an unkind person, treat them with kindness. Who knows? You might melt their icy heart. Thanks for the words of wisdom, Randolph, and blessing to Phillips family, all the Raptor Freak families. That's right. That's right. That's right. Milbester's saying this. At least I ain't talking baseball. Yeah, it's true. And we just had a winter meetings this week in Orlando, and a lot of top players got signed and still others left to be signed. 2 months until players report to camp. Yeah, I know. Lindsey Dunn's been down in Florida for winter meetings for the Blue Jays. And I like the change since the World Series. They're saying that the Blue Jays have become a destination in the MLB that rivals the Dodgers and the Yankees. That now we're playing with the big boys with the money. And Ed Rogers III is willing to start spending to get big names up here to play with Vlad Guerrero Jr. And that more of the big names in the MLB, they're coming up, are saying that Toronto is a destination city. To play for the Blue Jays is a good thing. And I think that the high profile of the World Series this year and seeing how that team vibes makes it a whole lot attractive to other players in the MLB to say, hey, maybe Toronto would be fun. Yeah, I like that development in the recent of the MLB. That's what I'll say right there, Milbester, about the baseball right there. And that's true. You can feel it, right? Because I've heard baseball experts saying Toronto has elevated their standing in the MLB as far as a destination team to play for, the Blue Jays. That's right. I love it. I love it. I love it. Neil's saying this, DeMar coming back to Raptors to show the bench how to turn up the pressure would be great after we get a backup center, of course. Man, I don't know if we can handle having DeMar and RJ on the same team. That'd be crazy. I mean, I would love this. I would love to see DeMar DeRozan back in the Raptors jersey, but I don't know if they both very been clear. I only come back if the other guy's back. The bromance has to be intact. And coming back here might just be too weird and sad. A constant loop of Careless Whisper by Wham. I'm never gonna dance again. Kyle Lowry's not in Toronto. I can't go back there, friend. You know I'm not a fool. Yeah, DeMar won't come to Toronto without K-Lo next to him. So he'll never gonna dance again the way he danced with you. Oh. I'm sorry, that was all off the top of my head. But that's really what they're on the record for. Both of them have said this, although both of them will probably do the last day of their career retirement in a Raptors jersey. Roy Halladay did that, right? He came up here and he put that Blue Jays jersey on right at the end after being with the Phillies and stuff like that. And then he's like, yeah, I'll retire a Blue Jay. Well, Kyle Lowry and DeMar on the download said the same thing. Yeah, he did. In a podcast, DeMar was asked by Kayla Gray, would you want to do what Kyle's saying he's going to do? Would you want to come back up here and put that Raptors 10 on for a second and just say, I'm retiring as a Raptor? And DeMar said, yeah, I would. So, I mean, he's going to come back at least for that, but I don't see them coming back to play because like they said, they don't want to ride around and travel with the team without their buddy there. It just wouldn't be the same. No K-Lo, no Debo. That's kind of how it is right there, guys. That's it. Milbester's saying, I think we're losing to the Magic in the semis for the NBA Cup. See, this is topical. We can do this. This is a game today. I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of rooting for you guys because we look better if you guys beat the Magic. So go beat them, please. Just go beat them, Knicks. And then go to the finals and lose epically to Thunder. That's what I want to see, actually. You guys go ahead and get all the way there and get New York all in a tizzy. Ooh, we're going to do it. We can do it. And then let Shea crush your dreams. That's what I'd like to see. If I'm script writing for the NBA, that's the script I want to see today. Let's see. I mean, I think that the Spurs could beat the Thunder. A lot of people are saying that San Antonio has the best chance to beat the Thunder in some ways out of all the teams in the NBA right now. So if they do beat them, either whoever is winning in the West, I want them to win this cup because either one of those teams, I'd be happy, Thunder or Spurs winning the cup. And I damn for sure don't want the Magic or the Knicks to win. But I'd love to see y'all get to the finals, get your hopes up, and then get crushed by SGA and the rest of them from Oklahoma City. That's what I'm looking for right there. I think y'all will beat Orlando. I'm rooting for y'all today. How about that, Milbester? Will you take that? Oh, Raptor Streak is rooting for the Knicks today against the Magic. That's right, because it makes us look better if y'all beat the Magic. That's right. Milbester's saying, why would DeRozan go back to Toronto? He's from California. He's good, and Kings and family near home. Well, in some ways, I would ask that question and say, there's no way because he was burned. He felt hurt. But this man is not holding on to his pain. This man's gone to therapy. This man is doing the work. And Fred shouts him out on his podcast for being an advocate for mental health and what he does. DeMar is a very, very smart man. He's a very, very emotionally mature man. And in some ways, he's not holding a grudge against Toronto. In some ways, he's separated it all to understand where the problems and what happened is. He gets it. It's just a business. In some ways, he can enjoy and be happy for Kyle and Fred and Pascal and OG and all them for getting a championship because those are his friends, even if he missed out on it and didn't get there. But also in the down low, he knows that all of us, the real ones in Raptors Nation, know that he had a big part of it. And we honor and love him for it. That we don't get that 2019 championship without the years built up with DeMar DeRozan leading us. So I don't know. He's a mature guy. He went through things and he figured it out. He went through his anger. And he's actually said he would play in Toronto again. He would, but only if Kyle's there, is what he said. Yeah, I don't know. You're right. He does want to be in California, and his dream is actually to play for the Lakers. And if DeMar gets the chance to put on the purple and gold with LeBron in LA this year, I would be so happy. If he gets to play for the Clippers this year, that'd be great too, because he just wants to play in LA. And Sacramento's not exactly that. That's Northern California. And he wants to be in Southern California, in the LBC, in the Compton. That's where he wants to be right there. That's right. That's right. Daddy Gates is laughing at Isaac for that move right there. And Isaac's saying, at Milbester, you just need to talk more about Andrea Bargnani. Man, Isaac, you're on fire today. You are on fire, Isaac. That's 200 for you. You got the century mark times 2. 200 dunks for Isaac Campbell on an epic dunk right there. That is a badass dunk, man. That's like a Il Mago one-handed flush. Yeah, that's awesome, man. I love that. That's so awesome. Yeah. Milbester, you have to have one Bargnani comment every single time you come to the channel. That's just the rule now. You have one Bargnani comment. Neil saying this, Oshai has height and length over Elijah, but Elijah has that bulldog in him that Oshai lacks. Why are you saying that? They're not that different. Both of them have NCAA championships. Seriously, they're not that different. I mean, you can't say that. You're saying that Oshai doesn't have a bulldog in him? Nah, I can't say that, Neil. In some ways, I don't want to push up Elijah to put down Oshai because I feel like, that's not true. Oshai Abaji is a very physical player who plays with a lot of strength on the court that is hard to detect in some ways because it's just so subtle. So, yeah, I would not say that about Blackhawk. I wouldn't say that, bro. I wouldn't say that, man, that he doesn't have bulldog in him. That's crazy. That's not something to say right there. Daniel's here. Good to see Daniel back in the chat. Raptor Freak Daniel Franklin. I think it's great that Elijah Martin and the 905 are crushing it. But every time I see the Kings and Renault play center, I think, what if the Raptors drafted him? I know that was my recommendation for Bobby at the draft. And that's why, in some ways, this draft this year was disappointing to me at both choices. I was disappointed when Colin got drafted too, because it's like, man, that was supposed to be Malawak, but it wasn't Malawak. And then we found out later Rich Paul did not allow the Raptors to draft Common, and that was off the table. So I think Colin Murray-Boyles is a fantastic player, and he's going to be great for the Raptors going forward. But I was surprised. My jaw dropped when they called Colin Murray-Boyles for the Raptors in this year's draft. A similar thing happened in the second round with Elijah Martin because I was like, wait a second. Bobby, I thought we were all making it very clear we need more bigs. And obviously we're right because this season has been this way. And I'm totally with Daniel on this. It's hard to see some of the very talented draft picks from this year that were centers excelling in the league right now. I mean, it's hard for me to see Kel'el Ware doing certain things for the Miami Heat. It's hard for me to see Maxime Renaud. It's hard for me to see guys Like Malawak, get like a 30 and 20 game in G League right now. You know, it's tough. It's tough. And in some ways, I wish Bobby would go get us a big so that I could feel better about things. And I know drafting bigs means a project, but still, man, Maxime Renault is helping the Kings right now. And I second Daniel on this. Sometimes I wonder about this, but Elijah's our guy. He's a winner. And in some ways, I got to trust in Bobby. And the path of Elijah Martin is still to be determined. And it could be very, very much absolutely fantastic that we got Elijah. And I think that that may be what happens. We'll have to see. Kaz says, good morning, everyone. Good morning to Kaz. He's off the road again because it's Saturday and the man's off. It's a weekend. That's right. That's right. Milbester's saying this. Why? Okay, he said Bargnani, so there's his quota. Bargnani was garbage with the Knicks. Back with our team was trash until we drafted Porzingis. If we didn't have Melo, I would have never been a Knicks fan. Man, I was hoping you would say you started liking the Knicks because of Patrick Ewing. Maybe he was ahead of your time. I don't know. I have more respect for Knicks fans that start from the Ewing era, not the Anthony era. All right. He's saying this. Why, Bargnani? You don't understand why Isaac did that? He's trolling you. That's fine. That's fine. It's okay. I love you, Milbester. We're in some ways, I appreciate you being here. Stargate saying this. Hang on. I lost my place for a second. Where is the next Stargate comment? I always thought that DeMar would be a great six-man for the Raptors. Could you imagine Brandon sits and DeMar replaces him? Good Lord. Talk about a nightmare for opposing teams. Well, in some ways, like I've said in the past, like I feel like DeMar and RJ are kind of a similar position. Like they're the same kind of player in some ways. And you can't have both of them on the team, I don't think. It's the same reason why I would say you can't have Andrew Wiggins and RJ Barrett on Team Canada like together. Because there's just too much of a overlap in the role and what they do and what they need for them to be absolutely the best. DeMar DeRozan's not coming off the bench anywhere. No, you can't do that to that man right now. He's still at a high level at his age, and you're not Chris Paul and this guy. No way. He's got to start wherever he goes. And if that was part of the stipulation for him to come back to Toronto, he would not come back to Toronto in the first place for that. So, yeah, I just think this is a non-starter. This is like Raptors fans making up pipe dreams for what they wish, because in some ways it would help heal things if DeMar did return to our team and we got to say, like, have nice things and cheer for him. It's just like it would have been nice if Vince had returned to the Raptors near the end of his career like they were trying to do, but alas, he didn't. A nice little tidy bow at the end saying, yeah, everything's fine. We've healed the rift. It would have gone a long way, Raptors, if you had reacquired Vince Carter near the end and allowed him to return to the Raptors and heal all this stuff in a uniform. Alas, that didn't happen. And some of us are still not totally cool with Vince. It's too bad that didn't happen. That would have made things way, way better. Neil's saying this. Cena retires tonight. I'm just glad he said the time is now, is not trying to go past his prime, and gave the business a farewell tour. Chris Paul stayed too long, and two hurts me that too. To me, okay, that's to me. You wrote it with two O's. That's weird. That hurts the game. It just hurts his legacy. He makes him look weird. I mean, it doesn't hurt the game. It just hurts. I don't know. The whole thing with Chris Paul is really tacky, and it's the Clippers' fault. You can say that Chris Paul stayed too long. Why the hell did they sign him if he stayed too long? He wants money. He can stay in the league. They're saying, yeah, come and play for us. And then, no, we don't want you. That's kind of disrespectful. And I agree with Blake Griffin and all the former Clippers that are saying the Clippers organization's trash. And these are guys that like were their heroes and important alumni. And they're like, yeah, our old team, the Clippers, they're assholes. And we don't like them because of how they're treating Chris Paul right now. DeAndre Jordan, Blake Griffin, they're saying this right now, that they have no respect for a team that made them famous because of how they treated their old friend Chris Paul. So, yeah, I don't know. You can say what Chris Paul heard or what. In some ways, he was a mentor to the Spurs last year, and that was valuable. Forgive him for wanting to return to LA and try and play for a team that he played some of his best years for. And then they just threw him out like trash. Nah, I can't get on anybody's side. against Chris Paul on this because the Clippers are the wrong ones here. In some ways, they're the wrong ones. Yeah. Let's see. Superfan Mo saying, can just imagine that conversation between Carney and Masai. Yeah, we were asking, like we did the Raptors Reddit reactions yesterday, asking, well, what is Masai doing right now? Why is he not running another team? And then boom, like clockwork, there's news out yesterday and pictures of him with Prime Minister Mark Carney of Canada talking about Giants of Africa and initiatives for economic endeavors with the continent of Africa and Canada. And that's fantastic. That's a lot of what Carney's doing right now. He's pivoting from the United States and making more deals with Europe, Asia, and Africa to do the trade. And this is something that happened before, guys. In the history of Canada, the U.S. did some screwy stuff before. And to help ourselves, we switched our supply and where we got stuff from other places. And it really helped the Canadian economy. So it's like, once again, Trump and people in the States may think that Canada leeches off of the United States. That's absolutely not true. It's actually in the reverse. Y'all been leeching off of us. You've been leeching off of us for fresh water and electricity and lumber. And you say, oh, well, we're leeching off of Europe for protection. Well, that's part of the deal. We're supposed to have a deal as neighbors and friends that, in some ways you guys have the big budget of defense and you want to be the big bad boys. You want to be the big police of the world. Well, we're not going to try and compete with you on that. And if you want to hold a peaceful hemisphere, well, you should be in charge of protecting it and being the good guys and watching out. And we've had no problem with the deals. It's just y'all's butthole face dumbass president made a big dumbass thing earlier this year. And that's caused all kinds of rifts between your country and ours. And it's solely his fault. So it's like, look, y'all can say we've been leeching off y'all, but that's not true. Y'all get energy from us like crazy. And that's leeching literally energy off of us. And y'all, as corporations, come up here and make our people spend money. Don't make us. We're not going to do it, a lot of us, like me. But you make a lot of money off Canadian people with your American corporations up here. So I don't know who's leeching off of who. And that's what I say to that. And Mark Carney's exploring other options for deals with other people like India, China, Africa, and Europe. So yeah, that's what you get. Elbows up, bitch. I love it. Monique, you get a dunk for bringing up Mark Carney and Masai Ujiri yesterday. Because honestly, that was like clockwork. Where's Masai? What's he doing? Well, there you go. He's with the most important leader of Canada yesterday. And that's what he's doing. 135 for Superfan Mo. That's right. That's right. Fiercely saying this, Milbester, it's good you're a Knicks enthusiast, but too much talking on them. As a Raptors freak, it can get overwhelming and disengages me from the chat. See, you're making me lose my audience. My target audience is Fiercey. She is legitimately exactly almost my target audience. And you are making my target audience turned off from the channel with all your Knickerbocker talk. So come on now. Get with the program. Raptors freak is the name. All right, let's see. I deleted Milbester's comments, or did I just poster dunk on Milbester and the Knicks? We'll never know. In some ways, you do the style of Kareem with the butt dialing. You want to do a butt dial moderation. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. We will just never know. Isaac will know with a sly grin where he's sitting wherever he is right now. I'll bet he has a sly grin on his face. You'll never know. You'll never know. That's right. Wayne's saying this, I'm off, Oshai. He doesn't take responsibility for elevating his game. Don't get it wrong. My critique is only about aggression, not talent. Championship requires fearlessness. DeMar belongs in Compton. Yeah, I like that. I want DeMar to get his dream. I would just say this. Abaji is very fearless. I don't see this, Wayne. That man goes at two guys to try and dunk it on the hoop in the middle of the air. That man gets hit out of the air. He's very fearless. I mean, he's going in the air and taking hits and going to the ground. So I can't get with you on this. I cannot get with you on this. Now, as far as him elevating his game from last year, this year's a totally different year. Last year, he got to start a lot, and he really did have his best career year so far in the NBA last year. He was so good last year. He was one of the most underrated Raptors on the down low for our team. But this year, he's been injured at times. He had a baby just now too. And he hasn't been a starter like he was last year, and things are a little bit more erratic. And he just recently came back from missing some games, right, for the birth of his child, and he's kind of like he didn't have a good offensive game last game, but he's gonna he man, I don't see this the same way as you. In some ways, he's had a more erratic start this year because everything's a little bit more upside down than it was last year. So I can't see this. He's very aggressive. That man goes strong the hoop. In fact, he's one of the guys on our team that goes strongest to the hoop out of all of them. Seriously. Let's see. Blackhawk saying this: Canada versus USA is good for business in any sport. MLB, NBA, NHL, it just works. Yeah. I mean, as far as like Olympic stuff, sure, and stuff like that. When you're a one of 30 teams and you're kind of the one team, that's not totally easy. Let's just say it that way. But either way, Canada is number 5 in the world in men's basketball at this point, and the USA is still number 1. And we'd like to get as close up to them as possible. SGA, let's go. Let's go, baby. Yeah, Smooth saying this. WWE released a pretty cool John Cena retirement vid. It was touching. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I didn't watch it. I just saw that people were doing the salute and all kinds of stuff like Samoa Joe did in a match at AEW. And I guess the AEW people don't care. It's not like Tony Khan has any adherence to old school wrestling things like kayfabe or anything like that. So why would he care if one of his wrestlers on a show did an open tribute to a guy who never actually wrestled on his program and is part of the competition? Yeah, I seen that. I seen that. Milbester saying the Magic always gave us trouble over the years. Yeah, there was times in the mid 90s where they put y'all out of the playoffs. Uh-huh. Yeah, they beat y'all on the way to the finals to go against Akeem Dream in the Rockets. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the Magic and the Knicks, yeah, there's been a bit of something there. Sure. Well, I hope you guys beat them. I am rooting for you guys. I am. Although I shouldn't maybe because it'll hurt y'all in the standings and maybe we can get closer to y'all. I don't know. Neil's saying this. I saw that video. It's pretty good. I want to see more professionals do this. Yeah, I didn't see the video, so I can't comment on it, guys. Milbester's saying, I want to see Mitch versus Wembanyama in the NBA Cup Championship. Okay. You want to see Robinson versus Wembanyama? Okay. Daniel Franklin saying Knicks ride or die with Brunson. Yeah. Yeah, he is the franchise face. He is kind of the spirit of that team for sure. For sure. Reggie saying this. He did a lot for the business in his Make-A-Wish endeavors. Much respect to John. No, I that's probably the thing I have the most respect for John Cena is the Make-A-Wishes. He's like the record holder for the most ever out of anybody in any field and entertainment. He's done the most of them than anybody ever. And that's fantastic. And I got to have a lot of respect for his longevity. He started wrestling when I was still watching wrestling. And I haven't watched wrestling in 25 years almost. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good right there. He's also transitioned into an acting career pretty good so far. So he's got stuff to do afterwards in the lines of Rocky Johnson. So yeah, he's all right. He's all right. Let's see. Neil saying Oshai doesn't have aggression because he is a graceful player, which is why he misses easy bunnies from time to time. There is a time for grace and a time for power. I don't see this, guys. I don't see what you and Wayne are saying, Neil. I don't. This man's very aggressive. You don't see him running the court and dunking it on people's heads? I don't see this, guys. You're going to say this man's not aggressive. That's bullshit. Maybe he's not aggressive in taking his own shots from the rest of the team. He's a guy like RJ. He doesn't have plays called for him. He finds his spots in the game when it's time, and he goes when he gets them. Trust me. You see how explosive he is in transition and getting up in the air and trying to throw it down. You guys, I can't get with you guys on this. I think you guys are misrepresenting Ochai Agbaji right now. Seriously. I think you're misrepresenting. It's time for grace? This man's not a graceful player. This dude's a grinder. This guy's a very physical player. And in fact, you need to pay closer attention when you watch him next time. Just see how much he's bodying up and muscling with guys like maybe even half a foot taller than him. Like, because he's getting down there with the power forwards and the centers and muscling them around on defense. I do not see anything graceful about Ochai Agbaji. This is no Chris Bosh we're talking about here, guys. This guy does not shy away from physicality. And I think that y'all are misrepresenting Abaji right now. Seriously, this is time and grace and time for power. That man's a power player. It's just that he's so strong, it looks effortless, and you don't even realize how powerful and strong he is. That's what I'm saying right there. Yeah. Yeah. Daniel's saying Oshai is great, will guard anyone. Exactly. He's very valuable because he can have the strength to guard a big, and he's fast enough to guard a small. And that's very valuable in this league. That's right. Superfan Mo saying, loving this mini break, but wish we were in Vegas. Booked my last ride today before the Christmas break. I'm at home versus the Celtics. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. I guess, yeah, we're going to play the Celtics again already soon. That's right. Yeah. This break has been nice in some ways. I know it's really important for the players. They need a recharge. They need to catch up on the rest. I hope that Darko's got them practicing this weekend to be ready because this game on Monday is in Miami, and the Miami Heat have played very well. Of course, the Miami Heat will be off for 5 days also, so that'll be similar. And, Scotty's probably been down in Florida already, just kind of hanging around his family and getting ready to go there. And that's better than being up here in the -12 with the 3 feet of snow I got out here in the woods. So, yeah, most of the Raptors have probably escaped Canada as soon as they finish their game with the Knicks and gone stateside, and they will reconvene. Hopefully, Darko will have them all come to Miami either today or tomorrow for sure. Better be there tomorrow and get some practice in with the whole team together. Because I do worry a little bit about the team separating and going off and kind of having a mini break where they kind of go into their other lives. But they need to come back and get that chemistry and that camaraderie and the shine around each other. Either today would be preferred, if not yesterday. Seriously, because they need to get that work together and get that chemistry. And I don't want to see them show up on Monday in Miami against the Heat lackadaisical, disconnected, and something's just weird about them. Because a long layoff can be good, but it can also be bad. And we got to make sure that the Raptors use their 5 days off wisely and personally and rejuvenating, but also getting on the same page and having some practice time with Coach Darko and making sure that they're ready for Monday because that's going to be a tough game. Miami Heat's playing very well, and we got to play them on the road, and we'll just have to see how that goes. Hopefully, we get on the winning side of things again. I'd really like to see that. I really, really like to see that. Wayne saying my second team for this year because we ain't ready yet is Detroit. I'm rooting for Dwayne Casey to get a second chip and prove he's the GOAT of development. Oshai is tame, soft fouls. Lex is late. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Tame fouls? I don't see this, guys. I guess I'd see the game differently. I just see him very much taking a lot of physical brunt stuff for the Raptors. Like he's one of the most physical players for us, guys. Just please, let's pay attention. I'll try and look and see what y'all are saying and see if he's soft or he's like tame or any of this stuff you're saying. I don't see this shit. He's one of the most aggressive guys in some ways that on the down low. It's just that he's a pretty boy and he seems like a nice guy. And you think he's just a nice guy. No, on the court, he's very strong, very physical. And I think if you asked NBA players that play against him, they're like, yeah, Abaji, man, in some ways, it's like he's underrated in some ways in this department. I just don't get why y'all are putting these bags on him because I don't see this. I do not see this in any kind of way. And well, I'm going to pay attention. I'll see if I don't know. I don't know about what Wayne's saying. I don't know. We'll have to see. I don't see it. I've never thought this about him. I don't know where you guys are putting these labels on him. Fiercely saying this. Oh man, I'm gonna need a cutoff because I wasn't gonna do 2 hours today. I thought I'd only do an hour today, but this is good. This is good. Let's see. If DeMar came back to us, he would need to be coming off the bench. Is that a sacrifice he will do? I personally think he's still a starting caliber. He won't do that. And it's not that he won't. I mean, he'll make sacrifices, but it's at this point in his career, he needs to play. If he's a good starter and he can play starter, he needs to get starter minutes and continue his individual quest for goal, going up the NBA all-time scoring list. So in some ways, if he's on a winning team, that's great. But if he's not, and he continues to be on a team like Sacramento, well, it's great too because he's doing things for his own individual accolades. And he's too good to come off the bench, guys. He's too good. He's at a high level still, and like he's not like getting bad where he can't start. He's absolutely a starter. And if he came here, that would mean people would have to go the other way, and he'd be replacing them in the starting lineup. So that's what you have to think about with this. So trying to make this fit or just to do it, just to, oh, I want to have DeMar back because that's nostalgic and it would be so nice. That's not why you do things, guys. It has to make sense. It has to make sense. Yeah. Fiercey's laughing at Milbester. I don't know what he said. I didn't see it. Neil's saying this Bulldog is more attitude than strength. And I definitely give Elijah the edge on Oshai in that department. You can't. Elijah's barely played in the NBA. You can't do that. Now, I'm not saying Oshai doesn't have any Bulldog in him, but I'm saying Alijah has more. You can't quantify this because in some ways there's a certain level of accomplishment and already provenness in Abaji on the NBA level. You can't do this, guys. You're giving him something before he's gotten it. Elijah, you can do this. I believe in you, but we can't do this. He's not gotten that yet. He hasn't proven anything on the NBA level, and Oshai has. So you can't do this, guys. Seriously. And why would you want to detriment Oshai Abaji to prop up Elijah? We don't need to do this. We don't need to do this. In some ways, they're not even competing with each other. They really aren't. They really, really aren't. Fiercely saying this, agree with Blackhawk. Elijah currently demonstrates more dog, but we've seen how much of a defensive beast Oshai can be, a clamp. Yeah, I don't get this, guys. I don't even know why this narrative started to develop on the stream today. When did it become Elijah versus Oshai? This has never been a thing. I'm like, I don't even know where we got here with this. All right, I want to kill that topic right now because I feel like this is just boring at this point. Milbester's saying this, Rockets fit well with Durant. Durant found a good core to play. Glad to see Houston is back. Warriors still a playoff team. Okay, you're just doing NBA now? Is that what you want to do? Anything but the Raptors, Milbester? This is a Raptors channel. I'm not here to talk about all the NBA. If I talk about the NBA in some places, that's right. I will. But overall, it's not for you to come in and do the updates around the league or the WBC or the baseball or anything like that. That's not the subject material for this channel. And I told people recently, this is not necessarily an NBA channel anymore. This is very solely a Raptors channel because there's so much that I cover that's Canadian basketball now. CBL, Toronto Tempo is coming, the 905, Team Canada basketball, and Raptors. These are our subjects on this channel. And it used to be an NBA channel here where I did Raptors and NBA news, but I've cut that all NBA stuff. I do not cover all the headlines in the NBA anymore like I used to because I don't have the time. I have Canada basketball that I cover. And the Raptors are number one. The Tempo are number two. And 905, CBL, and Team Canada are in there somewhere too. That's right. That's right. So, yeah, I don't care what the Warriors are doing. Old age home. I saw that shot that Steph threw, though, yesterday. That was amazing. He threw it from the entryway full court. That was crazy what he did. That looked like that was like AI enhanced. How did he do that? No, he actually hit that. He actually hit that. That was crazy, man. Cool Cat saying it was a joy to see Masai with the PL. Yeah, he's got bigger horizons. The NBA is small potatoes to him. This man can make a real difference in other ways. And kudos to the great Masai. We love you, Masai, forever. Forever, Masai Ujiri. The legacy will stay strong, and we will carry it forward. That's right. That's right. Fiercely saying this. Lex, since the Suns, Chris Paul has been with 3 teams, the Warriors, the Spurs, and the Clippers. I don't follow him like that in terms of contracts, but could he be too outspoken and difficult to work with? That is some of the noise. That's actually why they cut him in Clippers is what they're saying. Tyronn Lue just had enough of him. In some ways, he came in there, and obviously the Clippers in a bad place this season. And Chris Paul is a standard, and he has no filter. He's very real. In some ways, I love him for that because he's like, if the team's shit and he sees guys being lazy and he thinks guys aren't doing things right, he's going to say it. That's the leader he's always been. And either you like that or you don't. You pay for what you get. The Clippers should have known this. The man played for them for so many years. Well, they expected to win. That's what it was. And, Bradley Beal's a sorry-ass player who's hurt all the time and doesn't play. Kawhi Leonard, similar. And, Chris Paul, and they're losing. Chris is going to talk about, this is bullshit. And Tyronn Lue just said, yeah, Chris, you're not helping. Because I know it's like this. And it's like, you're not helping. And then they dismissed him. He was a year in San Antonio. He really came there to kind of work with Popovich and Wemby. And then Popovich had to retire. And Wemby and him did work together. And he got a lot out of it. Chris Paul being around Wemby was a good thing. I'm not going to come at Chris Paul because he's like Fred. They're outspoken leaders. They're good basketball players. And they have the best intentions. And they're no bullshit. If your team is fucking around and wasting their time, they will tell you. And that's why I love these guys because they're the opposite of Ben Simmons. So it's like, if you knew who Chris Paul was, why did you bring him there, Clippers, and then get to this point? Oh, you were so sure you're going to be a top team and so good that everything would be happy and cheery and you wouldn't have to hear Chris tell you how bad you were. Well, that's just what happened right there, Fiercey, is that Tyronn Lue dismissed him because he was sick of him criticizing the team and telling everybody the truth they didn't want to hear. And that's why they told him to go home. That's it right there. That's it right there. I don't hold that against Wake Forest's Chris Paul. No, that guy's a Hall of Famer. That guy's a badass, and he's right. Whatever he's saying to the Clippers, they just didn't want to hear it, so they told him to go away. That's it right there. Milbester's saying this. There were reports the Warriors want. Okay, I don't give a shit about that. I don't give a shit about that. No more Milbester. It's not an NBA channel. Fiercey's saying this. Raptors had 3 vets, Thaddeus, Otto, and Garrett. Garrett is definitely the one who meshes well with the younger generation and provide positive support. I would not mind him coming back next year. Garrett? Well, that's up to Garrett's body and up to the Raptors and Darko and whether they do that. The signs are, Darko loves having him around and he's been very steadying. We'll have to see. I agree. Out of those guys, Garrett's been the best leader out of those. Thad was pretty good too. Otto didn't really do this stuff. He didn't really do this stuff when he was on our team. Thaddeus did before Garrett, but Garrett was an upgrade to Thaddeus. For sure. For sure. Wayne saying this, don't get it twisted. Carney meeting with Masai means nothing towards Africa. Carney is better than the worst, but not a real friend to the third world. He's a Zionist apologist, silence on Venezuela. I'm not going to disagree with anything Wayne says. He's a World Bank executive. He's a corporate insider who's like very much involved in a lot of the problems. And I get it. But, even if this is some sort of real thing where there are some opportunities in some programs that develop between Canada and the continent of Africa, then it's worthwhile. I mean, I get it. I'm cynical on Carney in a lot of respects right now, too. I really feel like there's dangerous things that are going on with environmental protections and politicians ignoring them. I think that some of the things they're doing is very much undemocratic because they're not doing what the will of the people is. And I think that fossil fuel energy is really stupid to continue to try and build infrastructure around. And that any politicians that are still pushing that, well, they're corporate shrills for the fossil fuel industry and all that bullshit. And Carney's definitely in that. But I mean, the optics of it look good. And if there is any solid good things that come of the meeting between Ujiri and Carney yesterday, that's fantastic. But I can see why he's cynical, and I will not disagree with him that he's a Zionist apologist. That's for damn sure. Yeah, nothing that Wayne's saying here is not lie, but I want to have a hope that maybe there's something positive. Maybe it's Masai's side of things. So he comes in because Masai's no guy who was born yesterday. He's going to come in there and talk to Carney. He's a businessman. He ran this team for a long time. He can hold his own, and he knows what's a good and a bad deal. So trust in Masai on this one to have the best interest for Africa when talking to Mark Carney, the Prime Minister of Canada. So I want to say that right there. Yeah, you're going to miss Cena. I miss him already. I can't see him. That's right. Mo's giving me my cutoff. Thank you, Monique. I got 13 minutes till 2 hours. We'll get done right on time. W Stream, W Vibes. Go Raptors for life. Keep at it always, Lex. Raptor Freak Crew strong forever. Just helping me limit the comments. I'm associated with Giants of Africa crew. So how can I not share it? I had to in reference to Masai. That's right. Well, in some ways, that's one of your departments that you cover for us is Giants of Africa with your relationship with Kimberly and other people involved in that entity. She has a direct line of communication to know what's going on. That's the insider in the Raptors world that Monique Lawrence is. And that's why I'm proud to call her one of my best friends. And also one of the most knowledgeable Raptors fans and connected Raptors fans in our nation. That's right. I will laud Miss Monique every single day. That's right. That's right. Mobester, thank you for retracting your messages. I'll just say that preemptively. Thank you. Blackhawk's saying this. Lex, you have last year's OSHA on your brain. This year's OSHA has struggled until the baby was born. That's a lot of NBA games where you underperformed and looked shocked. No. Listen, Grady and OSHA are similar, and Jacoby even. These guys are not getting the chances they got last year, so you cannot compare them. The Oshai proved stuff last year. He's a bona fide guy. He can do the stuff he did last year. It's just he's not totally getting the opportunities right now. It's the same thing with Grady. Grady could probably do some of the stuff he did last year as a starter if he started again. So yeah, you're saying that I have last year's Oshai on my mind? He's the same guy. What do you think he regressed that much? No, he did not, man. These guys aren't getting the same opportunities they got last year, and that's the only difference right now. Abaji has played better recently, and maybe he had a little dud part at the beginning of the year a little bit, but that's like every player goes ups and downs. Jacoby had a dud part. Grady's in one right now. I mean, I don't know what you expect, man. It's like you think he underperformed. He looks shocked. I've not seen any of this. At times, Abaji is not always a scorer. In some ways, he's very much like Anunoby. He's going to give you a defense first. He's going to put clamps on people, and his offense may not show up every night. If you guys are gauging Ochai Abaji solely on how many points he's scoring, stop. That's not exactly what you should gauge him on. You should gauge him on, is he stopping one of the most important players on the other side of the court from scoring? Is he getting a target on transition for RJ and Scotty to hit him and transition to make a dunk? Is he hitting a corner three when he's open? And he finally did hit one of those recently. So a lot of signs are showing that Abaji may be waking up. And I don't get why you guys are doing this. In some ways, we want to pump him up and make him look good because he might get traded and we want his value up. That's what I say to that. I don't get why you guys are slamming on Abaji today. There's no reason to do this. The man didn't do nothing wrong. Fiercely saying this, teams on my radar for the Raptors to beat at the next matchup: Celtics, Knicks, Hornets, Lakers. Just one win to erase narrative. They've owned us this past year. Yeah. We always got revenge and receipts we got to get back to around there. Yeah, that's right. 11:08 W stream, fam. All right, thank you for cutoff. I got 9 minutes. Let's say, all right, Milbester's saying this. I will say this to Raptors fans on Pistons. They're no joke. They almost beat us in first round last year, and they didn't have Stewart healthy, and Jaden Ivey was out all last year. And they have Jalen Duren. It's Duren, not Duran. And Holland is really good. Yeah, well, we haven't even seen the Pistons yet this year. We'll see them in January for the first time. And we'll see if they're at that top level still at that point. I mean, I'm not going to believe anything until I see them. But yeah, they have the best record in the East. I have to respect that. And well, Milbester's warning us. I'll note this. Yeah. Isaac's got me. My cutoff applies to Knicks fans too. Defense. I love that. Isaac, all right, you can get another dunk. You're hilarious today. Isaac is really funny today. He's really, really funny. All right, let's see. 203, Isaac Campbell. 203 on the dunk chart. Fiercely saying this. I meant to say Elijah shows good signs, but I've seen enough of Oshai to say he's a bona fide defender to me. Really solid. Yeah, I don't get this. It's not like he's regressed that bad this year. The thing, like I said, I gauge him on his defense, and his defensive energy and what his effectiveness on defense is still there. It's still there. Kareem's saying this. I think the Portland head coaching position was posted on Indeed. If anyone is interested, only qualifications are not a gambling man. I don't know. Splitter's doing pretty good. I think that he's going to keep that job because honestly, in some ways, he's done better than Chauncey's been doing that team in the last couple of years since Chauncey didn't get to start the season. So Tiago Splitter, that's his job to lose. So I don't see that. Milbester's saying Hornets have a better record than Nets. Yeah, that's because they're a better team. The Nets are not a good team. I don't know why you think the Nets should have a better team record than the Hornets. The Hornets have Con Knippel and Brandon Miller, and they actually have some good players. The Nets have Michael Porter Jr. Yeah, that's it right there. The Nets have the worst franchise. The Nets have the worst roster in the league right now, Milbester. The Nets have the worst roster of players in the league right now. They have the absolute worst team in the league as far as personnel and stars and who's on their team. I feel bad for Fernandez. I don't see why you are shocked by this. I'm not shocked by this at all. I had penciled in Brooklyn at the bottom of the whole entire league this whole entire year. And that, unless the Pelicans are worse than them on the other side, the Wizards are going to be better than them. Yeah, because they got better players than them, just like the Hornets. So, yeah, Kareem's got the knives out. Oh, my gosh. Yikes. Fierce is saying this. Nothing is holding others accountable and wanting to keep a competitive edge. Some may be in for prestige and money, but I respect and value any day someone with a winning mentality. Okay, I'm done. Sorry, Monique and Kareem. Okay. All right, thank you. Oh, yeah, it's a cutoff. And Wayne's saying the topic is on Elijah. That's why we're talking to him. The next step is how he develops in the G League and gets into the senior team. If so, someone has to be replaced. Prefer us to mention Grady? No, because that's not necessarily how it works. because it's not like Elijah jumps into somebody's spot and they just displace him like that. No, there'll be a trade and something will happen independent of Elijah, and then opportunity will open up that way. So I don't get this. Once again, these guys all have independent paths, and in some ways they'll get figured out. And but like planning, like we want Elijah on the big club and we'll just get rid of Oshai. That doesn't make any sense. Let Bobby do his work. And if he trades Oshai at the trade deadline and there's an open roster spot or something like that, it's not even on this timeline. Elijah Martin's not going to be a full-fledged Raptor this year. He has to do a couple years on the two-way, and maybe next year he gets converted to a full-time Raptor if he's really good and he's consistent for that time period. Not everybody's Jamison Battle, where they get converted in the first year. And I don't see anybody out of the two ways getting converted unless it's AJ Lawson. AJ Lawson could get converted this year, but Elijah Martin's not getting converted to the main roster this year. It's just too much of a glut of craziness. And AJ's ahead of him in the priority line because he's already got more years and he's more NBA ready. So I don't get this, man. We talk about Grady. We don't need to talk about any of those guys in this situation. We talk about how things open up and opportunities come depending on how GMs do stuff. But we don't have to specifically say, no, kick Oshai off the team to Elijah to get a full roster spot. That's not how things work, guys. That's not how things work. Milbester saying, I wonder why Cavs suddenly a 7 seed. I don't know what happened in Cleveland. The Raptors are 6 seed, and they are not. They have Donovan Mitchell still. Laughing my ass off. Okay, Milbester, you're not paying attention. The Raptors have swept the Cleveland Cavaliers for this year. We beat them 3-0. They did not beat us once this year, and we don't play them again. We've already swept them for the year. So, yeah, we're above them in this league. Why are you surprised about that? I wish we'd sweep y'all, but hopefully we can still win a best-of-5 series by sweeping you for the rest of the year and getting the next 3 wins against y'all when we face you later. Yeah, you're surprised by this? I'm not surprised by this. The Cavs were way, way higher than they should have been last year. They had a really good year last year, and they were doomed to be worse this year. And y'all are too, honestly. Let's see. Isaac's saying this, but also Canada is cutting $2.7 billion in humanitarian aid. That's messed up, and that's not right. That's not right. And that's the billionaire oligarchs being shitty people, Scrooge McDuck. That's right. I hate that news. In fact, I want to take a dunk away because you made my sunshine go down by saying that, Isaac. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. That's bad news. It may be true, and it's pissing me off. That's right. All right, let's see. What else? Who's filling it up more, even down? We had a cutoff, guys. We had a cutoff here. Stargate saying, does Milbester actually listen to the audio of the stream, or does he just look at the chat only? Because it seems he just ignores Lex about what his channel is about and continues. I mean, Lex has told him the same thing over and over for over a year now. It's actually been about 2 or 3 years, honestly. And he just continues. It's being disgraceful. It's becoming disgraceful. In some ways it's entertainment value to it. I'll handle it the way we handle it, Stargate. It's okay. It's okay. I like Milbester being here. It's just if we can keep him on task, that'd be great. But he's trying. He's not totally trying to do this just to piss us off. He means well. And in some ways, he adjusts. He does adjust a bit. I recognize that, Milbester, and I appreciate that. Yeah. Fiercely saying, my bad. Nothing is wrong with holding others accountable. I don't know. I don't know where that comes from, Fiercely. I've gone too far from somewhere else to know what that means. Blackhawk saying, Chris Paul is past his time. Yeah. Make him a coach if you value his opinion, but if he can't support from the end of the bench, then release him. Yes, Clippers shouldn't have picked up Chris Paul in the first place. Yeah, that's what I would say. That's what I say. That audacity, they just thought they were going to be so good. They're just they're idiots. They didn't realize that they're a house of cards, and they have a bunch of guys who no show. So yeah, let's see. Mr. Quasimodo saying, I missed that win streak. There was one play that happened during that streak where Ingram had this look the rest of the team for a shot, and they were all like, "Yeah, that's going in." Yeah, I can't wait to get that back. Seriously, I can't. Seriously, good to see you, Mr. Quasimodo. Even though it's right at the end. Blackhawk saying all politicians speak with a forked tongue. Yeah, that's why we need a new era of politicians that aren't for party and they're for the people and they're not for corporations. And you know what? Maybe some of us should do it. Maybe I should start running for something and say, yeah, I don't give a shit about liberal or conservative, but I care about the environment. I care about your grocery bill. I care about your children's future. I care about this. I care about that. And maybe people would get along with a new politician that has no party allegiance and just has morals and things that they stand for that are for the people and for democracy and against the oligarchy and the billionaires and the corporate class. That's what we need. We need more people like that, like Zoran Mundini. Those kind of politicians are coming because people are dying for people like that. And we're going to see that. And some of it may be less conservative and liberal and Democrat and Republican leaders. It'll be independents. And I hope we see more of that because there'll be real people that are actually for the people and not fucking corporate shills that are just looking out for the very rich. And that's the thing, right? Yeah, that's right. That's right. Even Shed. I'd rather keep Oshai than Grady, but that's just me. Once again, we're not trying to say who we keep and who we don't. Blackhawk saying, Lex, you're not making period. Not making sense. Opportunities in time is time on the floor, period. They don't need starters minutes, and the team will never be successful if that's a requirement. Okay, we're not seeing the same thing from the same perspective, Neil. In some ways, you guys just want to diss Oshai. You go ahead, but I'm not participating. And also, once again, he's productive in his minutes when he's out there recently, whether he's starting or not. He's playing very good defense, which we can't totally say for Grady, and he's shooting. It will come around. So I don't get this. We've had a way longer talk about Oshai Abaji today than I expected. And it's to share the love club for Elijah Martin, not to share the hate club for Oshai Abaji, guys. So let's get back on topic, just like Milbester needs to be back on topic as far as things like that. Yeah, Isaac's on fire. That's right. Wolverines is here. Okay, I'm just go ahead and thank you for the subscription, but bye, Felicia. I don't have time for your bullshit. That's right. That's right. Blocked. Yeah, Daddy Gates called it right there. Let's see. Wayne's saying, I did not mention any timeline, and I said if. Well, that's what I'm saying. Let's not do if, woulda, coulda, shoulda. Let's just stay in the present. Oshai's doing fine. He's playing fine right now, and he's building up his trade value, hopefully, or he's a part of our future. And I don't know which one it is. In some ways, I can make a case for keeping Abaji as he's an integral defender on our team, but I could also make a case because there's some tough decisions with his contract and an extension coming up that Bobby may be flipping him and trading him later this season. But I'm not going to say either one as far as I don't care. If we keep him, that's fantastic because I love having him on our team. But if Bobby decides that the asset needs to be flipped, then he'll do that. That's right. That's right. That's how it is right there. Milbester's saying this. I think after you mentioned that Wolverine, I think we lose. All right. Yeah. Anyway, Milbester. Isaac's saying this. That was a Charles Oakley block. Yeah. All right. You like that? Yeah, Charles Oakley don't really jump. So when he gets a block, that's cool. All right. You got your dunk back, even though you bummed me out with that other comment. And Stargate's endorsing Oshai. All right. Let me just really quick do I even want to do this? Slim Duck's asking if you know Ashley Yaboa. Please contact him if you know her, please. He needs to find Ashley or something like that. So Chris Boucher is asking out there right now. And he's saying a happy birthday to his agent, everybody's uncle. So it was his birthday, Ephraim's birthday. So happy birthday to Chris's best friend, his agent, everybody's uncle. That was yesterday. Yeah. Chris has also got a meme with a turkey that's really overcooked and a turkey that isn't. 1 hour at 900 degrees Fahrenheit, burnt. 3 hours at 300 degrees Fahrenheit. Rushing things ruins patience, creates greatness. There you go. Let's see what else we got on here. I'm going to go really fast. There's Kelly Olynyk. He's in an airport, and he's telling the people that he uses the Score app to keep up on sports. Yeah, I use the Score. I've been using the Score for years, is what Kelly said. Jonathan Mobo is putting his shoes on blast. Serious players only. Y'all check it out. The link is there to buy it. So go to his Instagram stories, and you can buy serious player shoes. There's Fred VanVleet on the sideline looking like the Godfather. And there's his advertisement for Unguarded, episode 2 out right now. Jared Roden putting on blast his sibling and happy birthday. And there he is. He's got nice hair right now. He's living the life in France. Brandon Ingram posting a clip of a kid playing football in Kinston, North Carolina. So I bet you Brandon went home for a little while and got a little bit of North Carolina time for himself in the last couple of days. Let's see. Serge Ibaka is, where in the world is he? He was in Hollywood, Florida at Remy's 2 days ago, but he's in a very cold place now. He's done up in a jacket. And he's got a toucan. And I asked him, I sent him a message. Serge, are you in Canada? Are you in Toronto? Are you a new signee to the Raptors as our open roster spot? I mean, the mystery continues. Could it be Serge Ibaka is the 18th Raptor? that he gets added to the team all of a sudden in today or tomorrow, and all of a sudden Serge Ibaka, 2019 Raptors champion, is the backup center for the Raptors that we've been waiting for? Because he's somewhere where it's cold, y'all. He's definitely somewhere where it's cold. He could be here in Canada right now, y'all. I'm just wondering. Who knows? Jamal Shed has a really good word of wisdom from this guy who's saying that, like, even when you're praying, sometimes God doesn't give you the benefits and the good things in life at that time. You have to keep going, even through the dark times, and just have faith that God's going to come through on the other side and bless you. And this is such a powerful statement that Jamal has posted on his Instagram stories by this old man saying this. It's like there'll be seasons of comfort and there'll be seasons of doubt. And the Lord above is watching you during the seasons of doubt. And, you get through that, and then you'll get back to the seasons of comfort. So the path can be dark. Just keep your faith is what the message is there. Let's see. Jack Armstrong's out with Santa Claus out in the street or something. I don't know what's going on there exactly. And that's about it. We won't go any further with the Instagram stories right there. Raptors Reddit, dare I do this? One guy said this. He said, this sub is full of miserable supporters who hate their own team. And I'm not against what this guy's saying. A lot of people are very negative on Raptors Reddit, and it's a problem. Honestly, it is a problem. Let's see. What else do I got? If you guys got a Yahoo fantasy team, set it up. I'm getting closer to Amit. I'm trying to catch up with you before the end of this weekend. But yeah, if you got your Yahoo team, get it set up for the weekend because we got 2 more days of competition and you got to get it now. All right, let's get this card done right now. Right now, let's get this card done. And y'all need to get this right away. So I'm going to grab a card here. And all right, here you go, guys. Here you go. It's easy. So get it right away. Full name answer. It's a Raptor, y'all. We better do well on this right away. Full name answer. Give me the whole name, all 3 parts, if you really want these points. So give me the whole name, all 3 parts on this former Raptor that we got on the screen right now. Yeah, that's most of it. I want the last part. Slug Deezy, you got it. Yeah, I'll take that. It's Terrence Davis II. Is his legal name, I believe, is Terrence Davis II. But the card says Terrence Davis. Slug Deezy, the king of the classic card, getting Terrence Davis, former Raptors draft pick. Yeah, I don't even know where Terrence is right now. He's probably in the G League somewhere doing stuff, trying to grind. That's what I'm saying, you guys. You see Terrence Davis, and remember how he was on our team. He seemed like a real sure bet to make this league, right? Well, did he make this league? That's what I'm saying. 50 points for Slug Deezy for a Terrence Davis card. Has he really made this league? He made this league kind of. It's just a really tough league to make. You know what I'm saying? It's a tough league to make. Stargate likes Oshai. And Milbester said Oakley got banned at MSG by the owner. I miss Oakley. I think he's allowed to come back now. But that definitely hurt his ties with your franchise. And in some ways, Oakley loves the Raptors. He was just up here at a game in the last week. And he came to the practice at OVO, and he gave a lot of encouraging words to our Raptors just recently, talking to the Raptors at practice. And I love that. We've had Tracy McGrady and Charles Oakley come through and mentor our Raptors this year already at the OVO Center. And that's fantastic. W Stream, W Community. Thank you, Kaz. I appreciate everybody. Y'all, once again, we're sharing the love for Elijah Martin, a man of accomplishment already. You're a great basketball player. You're probably a really good football player too. And Elijah, keep your head up. Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing it right now. Getting a G League Player of the Week is absolutely a great accolade. Being 12-0 as a team on that level is fantastic. I know you're going to get your first NBA points very soon. And you know what? I'm rooting for you. I want the best for you, man. And, well, sometimes the best for players that are professional isn't always a full NBA career, and it has to be diversified with different chapters. So Elijah Martin, all the best to you. Keep working hard. Keep grinding. I look forward to seeing you win and do more and more great things for the Raptors organization, hopefully, into the future. Seriously. And whether it's 905, whether it's for the Raptors, I want to see you succeed, Elijah Martin. So much love to you, coming to you from the Share the Love Club today. All right, y'all. See y'all tomorrow, 12:45 in the afternoon. Because there's a 1 p.m. start for Maine Celtics and 9:05. I'll be calling the game live. So we're starting late, and I'll be sleeping in tomorrow for not normal. I don't get to sleep past 9 very often. And, well, I'll be sleeping in tomorrow because we're going to have a late start to the stream, 12:45 start tomorrow. Watch along, and we'll watch the G League game together if you guys enjoy that. All right, thanks for watching. I appreciate everybody. once again, I'll say all the opinions expressed on this channel, on this show, are either mine or yours. And they're not necessarily for the Raptors organization or the whole NBA or anybody else. I got my own personal opinions. Y'all got your own opinions also too. And that's okay. We need to have a world where people can disagree and still get along. And I love you guys, even if I don't agree with y'all on Oshai. That's right. Fiercey saying, I'll go to church in the AM, then join the stream. Awesome. So I'll see you after church, Fiercey, and praise the Lord above. Give thanks to the Creator above always. And if you are working with the Creator, you're working with nature, because nature was created by the Creator. And if you destroy nature, you're antichrist, because that is what God built. And if you're chopping down trees and destroying habitat for animals, insects, and plants, you are anti-God and anti-Christian. And I will say that right now to any corporate entity that is out there destroying our earth for their own gain of money. So yeah, that's just the damn truth. That's right. All right, y'all. Have a great day. Let's go, Elijah. Let's go, Raptors. Let's go, Raptors 905. Let's go, Andrew Jones. 13-0 tomorrow, baby. Let's go.